And we are live for the first episode of my Premier League journey this season, the 2021-22 season. And I have my guest Josh with me from A View from the Stands. Josh is an Aston Villa fan, and I'm pumped up to have him on the channel with me. And he'll be making appearances from time to time this season. So, how are you doing, Josh?
I'm all good, Dom. I'm all good. Thank you for having me on. And, as we were saying, just talking backstage, Premier League season's coming thick and fast. And the vibe and the buzz is coming. And I hope everyone else who's watching today is ready for the big return. Dom's back with his weekly shows. What's not to love? What is not to love?
Lovely, lovely. So, how excited are you about the new season? Premier League football is back and ready to go.
Yeah, I've just about got over the Euros, probably about 2 weeks ago. Pre-season's come along. Pre-season, I don't mind pre-season, but it's not the same. You haven't got the same appetite. You haven't got the same buzz. And, Villa have had 2 friendlies cancelled as well in pre-season, which is it's just mad to think that's happened. But look, I don't want to say too much to give away early, but I'm looking forward, especially with Aston Villa this season. I'm looking forward to a good season.
Yeah, you guys are looking good. You made a few signings. There was one big outgoing that we're going to talk about in today's episode. Of course, being an Aston Villa fan, I'm happy to have you here so that you could actually chime in on the whole Jack Grealish situation when we get there. And I'm just excited. I'm just ready to get things started. It's a bit strange, to be honest, because it's like the first one. You got to get the first one out the way, and then the ball is gonna start rolling. What I am looking forward to is doing the review. I have the review on Sunday. We'll have the results, and then we'll have something to actually talk about. Right now, we'll just be speculating. We'll be looking at what teams have done in terms of the transfer window and so on and so forth. So big up to everybody in the chat, man. Nice to see you guys in here. We got Chicken Man in the house who says, I'm so excited for the Premier League and Dominic Rich streams. Awesome. We got Kickoff Football up in here who says, what's up, Dom? What's up, Kickoff? Nice to have you in here. Guys, what I'm going to do right now, I'll be dropping a link in the chat for Josh's channel. Let me get that. Let me actually find the stream first, and I could actually do that. So I should have had the stream up here already. But Josh, the first match that we're gonna start with is Brentford versus Arsenal. We don't want to delay too much and have the chit chat going. We'll do that in between. But guys, that's the link for Josh's channel, so make sure you check him out. He's an Aston Villa fan, so if you're an Aston Villa fan too, that'll be lovely. I do have a big Aston Villa fan who's part of the community. I think 80 Booth is his name. Are you familiar with him?
The name rings a bell, actually. The name does ring a bell. Yeah, it does ring a bell.
So,
but yeah, Brentford Arsenal. I mean, we've got this weird banter rivalry of Arsenal all over transfers, and it's all come from old Emi Martinez, who we've taken their best goalkeeper. They're still sour about it, and we beat into Emi Buendia. But Arsenal, for me, it's not been a good pre-season for them at all. And I know I said earlier you can't go too much off pre-season, but listen, their only positive outcome was a draw against Rangers. They've really struggled. They've played some crazy friendlies against Spurs and, of course, against Chelsea, which, again, for me, why? I know it's part of that Mind series, but why play friendlies against 2 London rivals in the Premier League who you're going to come up against? And they embarrass themselves. Again, they're not the team that are making the progress under Mikel Arteta like you would expect. They've got Ben White coming in. They got Tavares is coming in defence. Granit Xhaka has absolutely rattled the fan base for the fact they've given them a new contract extension. Aubameyang, Dom, hasn't scored in 6 preseason games. They finished 8th 2 seasons in a row. I think they could finish lower. I'm going to put it out there, and I think they could finish lower. That's how you feel about that club at the moment. I think with fans as well. You've got to remember, Arteta has been shielded with no fans at the Emirates.
Yeah,
they're going to be back.
That's a big prediction there for Arsenal to get lower than 8th. That's big. I think they might actually do around the same. I did not make an official prediction video, by the way, and the reason being is because it's difficult to make a prediction video when a cane from Tottenham to City can still happen. So if Tottenham loses Kane, are you still going to predict them to, like, let's say, for example, you predict them to place 5th. Without Kane, they might actually place 9th. You see?
Yeah.
So that was my whole logic, and I didn't want to actually make a prediction video because it's just I didn't want to do it. I want to do things when I know all the signings have been made, and now I could say these are my predictions. So let's see. Maybe I'll do a late prediction. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Transfers do have a big impact, and hence the reason as well. I look at Arsenal and I just think, you still haven't strengthened in the areas that I would expect you to strengthen in. And I really do feel like he's got this sort of headache of what's he going to do with Aubameyang, because the bloke looks broken. He looks like a man who is in such poor vein of form. And I know, again, you can say it's only pre-season, but look at how he ended the season. Nicolas Pepe, he's got to step up now. He's got to step up and show his worth. But the only good thing about Arsenal for this opening game is that they're playing away from home, and they've got a fantastic record away from home. I think I read earlier it was something like they have one up there with Manchester United in one of the best away records in the last couple of seasons, where they were undefeated in 6 or 7 games. So they're up there. They're up there in terms of playing away from home. But Don, Brentford, how refreshing is it to see a debutant in the Premier League this season?
74 years in the making. 74 years ago was the last time Brentford was in the Premier League. They teased last season, but lost in the playoffs. But they came back. Thomas Frank and his boys came back harder, and I'm happy for them. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. They have made a few signings. I just saw they made a new signing today as well. They brought in a winger, and we'll get to the transfers. But Arsenal, I think this is a kind fixture for Arsenal, or maybe that's what it seems like. It's a kind fixture for them to start their season out on the right foot. So Brentford placed 3rd last season in the Championship, won the playoff against Swansea. Arsenal 8th. And for Arsenal, during their preseason, after they lost the Europa League semi-final to Villarreal, who went on to win the Europa League. That's not a bad team to lose to if you really look at it. They lost preseason games to Hibernian. They drew with Rangers. They lost to Chelsea. They lost to Tottenham. So that's what I have on record. Did they play any more preseason games?
They had like one, which doesn't really count, is that behind closed door one where they won one, but I'm not counting that as a real one. But yeah, that sums it up really. You're meant to build confidence in preseason. You're meant to, generate some form. I believe that's the whole point of playing preseason, and hasn't worked out well for them at all.
So let me get this straight, Josh. Fans are back at the stadiums, right? In full capacity.
Full capacity. The new stadium as well, Dom. New stadium. I think, the only time it's been used, correct me if I'm wrong, in a competitive game was the playoff semi-final second leg. Now, they may have played 1 or 2 championship games before that, but that was the biggest one I can remember in terms of that, and that wasn't even full capacity. So new stadium as well.
That's that Brentford Community Stadium, right?
Yeah.
So
lovely.
It should be lovely because it's a modern stadium. It should be state of the art, and it should have everything that a stadium should have, seeing that you have the advantage of basically building it in today's technology and everything. So, like to say, big up to Michael Talks Football in the house. How are you doing, Michael? Aubameyang might struggle this season. Look, man, Josh, ever since Aubameyang signed the thing, it has just been downhill for him. More money, more problems, basically.
Never seen a. I'm not even joking. I've never seen a decline like it. I've never seen a decline like it, and it's worrying for Arsenal. They can't find a position for him. Is he left wing? Is he down the middle? You can't keep fiddling. Find a position, keep him. If it doesn't work out, Arteta's got to show what he's worth as a manager.
But the thing is, he's so good though. When he's good, he's really good. But he's just been so bad. I don't know why, but he's just been terrible. And and it has to be since he signed the thing, because ever since he signed that new deal, he has just been really bad. But one good thing for Arsenal this season is that they're not playing European football. That should actually help them out.
It should help them. Has it hindered them in this transfer market? I don't know. The fact of no prospect of Europe, but obviously the Aaron Ramsdale deal fell through. Yesterday they thought that was going to be done, and you're thinking, if you can't get Aaron Ramsdale over the line, problems. But I still think Dom centrally. I still think centrally in the middle of the park they are vulnerable. There are options in there when you look at it. It's Granit Xhaka, Thomas Partey, and El Neni.
Partey is injured right now too.
Exactly.
And they brought in Lokanga. Lokanga seems to be playing in that position, but he is a player nobody knows about, and who knows, he might be a flop as well. Who knows? Let's see.
Yeah, and it's just, creativity. You're going to be relying on two youngsters and Smith Rowe and Saka again. Can they do it? Saka's going to have immense pressure this season, because he can either go out and play with freedom again, like he did last season. But the problem is that he's got such high expectations now from the fan base, from probably himself, from his teammates. He can't keep carrying them.
So how much do you know about Brentford though?
So in terms of Brentford, bits and bobs. Obviously, everyone is probably aware of their talisman, Ivan Toney. I think his is a fantastic story, actually, Ivan Toney, where you look at it, where wasn't quite seen as good enough for the Premier League, had to work all the way back up from Peterborough to then Brentford, and he went and proved it last year by smashing the Championship with his goals. I think he'll be a perfect slot there. Brian Mbeumo out wide, again, one of those who I think could tear it up. But for me, it's that vulnerability at the back. I think they're a little bit naive at the back. Pontus Jansson, for example, for me, his level is Championship, not quite Premier League. And they got a few sort of Danish and Danish internationals in there as well. So they're going to be combust. They're going to be tough under Thomas Frank.
They got that Jamaican guy at the back too. What's his name again? His name is, I'm not getting his name right now, but they have some neat little players in the team though.
Yeah.
They got some neat little players. They gonna, I think, I'm actually, it's hard to make a prediction, because they could come and absolutely smash it, but then you're like, I don't know, man. Seriously, right now I'm gonna just play it safe and just observe. Yeah,
someone said actually in the comments, they signed IJ from Celtic.
They do. So we let's get into the transfers, and then we'll just make the prediction and then move on. Yeah. But Arsenal and Brentford met each other once in the past. This will be the first ever top flight meeting, and they met in the Carabao Cup, the third round. Arsenal won the game 3-1. Coach Thomas Frank and Arteta have never met each other in any fixture, so it's going to be interesting to see how this one goes. But I like the journey of that Thomas Frank had with this team, and I like that the Brentford board stuck with him, and they were rewarded. They were really rewarded. So in terms of Arsenal for transfers this season, they have Ben White coming in for 58.5 million euros from Brighton, and that's big money, man. What do you think about Ben White? You think he's worth the hype? He's worth the money?
Ben White for me is a player that 50 million over 3 or 4 years will seem good value, I think. he's lucky in the sense of, as you said earlier, there's no Europe. So all he has to do is concentrate on being an outstanding Premier League centre half, which he's used to. He's better than any option they've got. Quality possession-based footballer that Mikel Arteta likes. And at Brighton last year, they had one of the best defensive records in that bottom half of the table. So clearly he's doing bits. And I think he is a good signing, but Arsenal are the type of club who can kill a good signing. And I worry that he could get murdered at Arsenal. I really do.
Yeah. And Ben White must see something in Arsenal, because I think he probably had other options where he could have played Champions League or maybe Europa League, but he chose Arsenal. And I think it's a good signing. Ben White is a quality centre back. You see, he got called up for England and all when that was Trent Alexander-Arnold that pulled out. So I think it's a quality signing to go along with Gabriel, who is currently injured right now. So Arsenal, they kind of it's like they made the signings, but did they make the right signings? You see what I mean? Because they also brought in Albert Sambi Lokanga, 17.5 million euros from Anderlecht. This is a player not a lot of people know about. He's 21 years old. He's a central midfielder. Seems like he's box to box. And it's a risk. It's a gamble. But who knows? Maybe he'll come good. But it's a player I don't know anything about. I didn't watch Anderlecht. And then there's Nuno Tavares, 8 million. This could be a quality signing. He's a left back. But he kisses dogs for fun in his spare time. I don't know if you saw that video.
I haven't. No, I haven't seen that. No.
Yeah, man, you got to see that video. This guy's like French kissing dogs, his dogs, and licking. I'm like, I know they say a dog's mouth is cleaner than a human's mouth, but still, man, it's just weird. Let's see how let's see what's gonna happen with him. So those are Arsenal's only 3 signings. They are looking for a front man. They were looking to sign Lautaro. That's not working out. I see they were linked to Tammy Abraham as well. I don't know if that's gonna happen. Aaron Ramsdale. That's not gonna happen. They wanted Buendia. That didn't happen. So players are like refusing Arsenal right about now. That's what's basically going on. I like to take a time to say big up to the people in the chats. You know, we have Dupe saying Arsenal has only brought in an attacker with Arteta, which is Willian. Or Willian is still at the club too. So, oh man. Nah. We have Brawlberry saying Lokanga is good. He's a leader. I watch him a lot because I live near Anderlecht Stadium. He has a lot of quality. Thank you very much for that, and we appreciate that. Let us see. But big up to the boy Julian. Nice to see you in here. Robert, Oliver, Zachary, Palomo, and all the boys. As I go along, I'll keep shouting you guys out. You guys are the real deal. Thanks for coming through episode 1 with my boy Josh, man, from A View from the Stands. Guys, I'm going to drop a link to Josh's channel right there. You guys could head on over there whenever you have some time and subscribe to the channel. So, in terms of departures, David Luiz have left the club. He still wasn't signed. Matteo Guendouzi, troublesome bad boy Guendouzi. He's gone to Marseille along with William Saliba, who's also, came out. There was a video of him. You don't want to even get into that right now.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah, Saliba. And then there's Dejan Iliev, a youngster, may have gone out on loan as well to, is that, I think, the Czech League or Slovakian League. So that's it in terms of signings. Thomas Partey is injured. We have also Nketiah injured and Gabriel injured. So these players would be expected back soon. So Arsenal spent 84 million euros, Josh. 84 million. That's a lot.
On what? And the problem is, Ben White's, for me, again, one for the future, but 84 million on 3 players that will only slightly improve your defence, but you haven't sorted out the issues the other end. Because actually, for me, Arsenal weren't exactly, there was a few errors from Leno, but they weren't leaking goals. It was the end product. It was the creativity. It was someone to step up and create more. to supply Aubameyang or Lacazette, whoever's up there. So it could be some panic buys. I'm not going to lie to Dom, they've got not a very nice opening 3 games, Arsenal. So I really, really worry about, how the shaky start could happen with them.
So for Brentford, they brought in Christopher Ayer from Celtic. I heard he's a quality centre-back, 23-year-old Norwegian, 15 million euros. Frank Onyeka from Midtjylland, 23-year-old as well, central midfielder, 10 million euros. They just brought in a left winger from Lorient. He's a Congo DR player, Frenchman, by the name of Yohan Wissa, 10 million again. And Miles Pates Harris, Chelsea under 23 for 1.5. Mads Bistrup also got promoted to the first team from Brentford B team. He might be a quality Danish player as well. And that's it for their transfer business. So they're gonna use the core of the team that helped them to come up to the Premier League, which could be kind of it could be flirting with trouble there. You could definitely be flirting with trouble. In terms of departures, I'm surprised that Emiliano Marcondes left the club and Henrik Dalsgaard. These guys were staples for the Brentford club for a while, and these are 2 Danish players. And
Conrad scored on his debut for Bournemouth as well, didn't he? Scored the opening goal.
Yeah, I didn't actually watch the first week of the championship. Something that we could actually keep tabs on as the season go along. But yeah, I also just saw they had a player by the name of Ellery Balcom, a goalkeeper, 21-year-old, who is English and Vincentian. He has family from my country, and he went on loan to Burton Albion. That's cool. That is very cool. So that's it for Brentford Arsenal in terms of transfers. Just our initial thoughts on these teams. Looking forward to the game tomorrow. Don't want to be crazy long on each and every fixture, but this one we just had to get the ball rolling. So that's why we were a little long-winded on this one. You know what I mean? So do you have a prediction for this match?
I do. So despite me saying that I worry about Arsenal's creativity, the opening game of the Premier League is always a wild one. It's always a wild one. You always get what you want. I've gone with 2-2. I've gone with goals. I've gone with 2-2. I've gone with there's going to be some defensive howlers. Arsenal away from home, that will suit them. And I just think Brentford are going to entertain us and give us some entertainment. So, 2-2 is what I've gone with, Dom.
Thank you. Interesting. That'll be a very good result for Brentford. First match. This is also a London derby as well. So we have Arsenal dropping points in the opening. That AFTV are going to go crazy because, dropping points to Brentford, a team who has never been in the Premier League, is like a loss. So I like to say big up to 80 Booth. You see, we were talking about 80 Booth earlier. 80 Booth must be familiar with Josh as well. So big up to you, 80, and all the best to the season. Big Aston Villa fan. Big up to Jersey Boy in the house, man. How I haven't shouted you out, I don't know, but big up to Jersey Boy. My bad. Thanks for coming through. Guys, make your predictions right now, and I'll let you know mine in a second. Big up to Steve McCullough as well, who says Yohan Wissa will be a good player. Watch him a lot at Lorient. He scored in a 3-2 win against PSG last year. My boy Steve McCullough, who is a member, thank you very much. He watches a lot of football, Russian league, all kind of leagues, Champions League qualifiers. So he knows what he's talking about in terms of these little players that we don't really know about. Look, my prediction for this game, I have Arsenal winning 2-1. I think Brentford will score, but I think Arsenal would just be a little bit too much for them. The quality would be the difference on the day. They do have quality. Lacazette's still there. Aubameyang, Saka, Smith Rowe, those 2 linking up very, very well. And Nicola Pepe did not have a bad end of the season as well. So I think Arsenal are gonna make it happen, and they're gonna start the season off on the right foot. So 2-1 to the Gunners. What do you guys say? How you feel about that prediction, though?
It's do you know what? It's interesting because I don't think a lot of people genuinely are backing Arsenal. Across, like just looking at the chat, and it's funny how even seasons ago you'd be like Arsenal, new team, doesn't matter, they'll sweep them over. But no, I can see why. Maybe the nerves of Brentford, their first encounter in front of their fans, they could feel the nerves, or it could be the other way. But yeah, interesting. Go with that. I can see why you say that as well. But I'm feeling goals. I'm feeling definitely goals tomorrow.
Yeah, so just to let you guys know the predictions shared in the chat, we have Steve McCullough, Brentford 2, Arsenal 1, Wissa and Tony to score, and then Lacazette will score for Arsenal. Okay. What else we got here? Michael Talks Football says, Marcus Fours, my Finnish guy from Brentford. Big up to Michael Talks Football coming out of Finland. Hopefully we'll get Michael on the channel during the season. He does have a channel as well, so check out Michael. What else we got here in terms of prediction? We have myself, big up to the boy myself, who says 2-0 to Brentford. Dupe says 2-0 to Arsenal. And what else we got here in terms of prediction? I like to read out a lot of your predictions. I'm not going to get to every prediction, but we you know what I'm talking about. We have Stuart Barkley in the house. How are you, man? He says a 2-2 draw. Elevator Kid 2-1. Arsenal, it will be close. We have Liam Albert, who says Arsenal are getting waxed 4-0. I don't know. You're just trolling, bro. Quit trolling this early in the morning. We have Brawlberry 2-1 to Arsenal. Robert 2-2. What else we got here? Sebastian a 3-2 for Brentford. Oliver 1-1. Julian 1-1. And what else we have in terms of prediction? Big up to my boy Lennon Sweet in the house. Owain Dilworth in the house. Palomo 3-2 to Arsenal. And Patrick Silke a 2-1. Jersey Boy 2-1. All right. A lot of predictions. Ilias Abs 3-1 to Arsenal. Big up to Antoine Eugene. I appreciate you guys sharing your predictions, but we're going to move on to the next one, man. This is a big one. A big one. The Roses derby between Manchester United and Leeds United. Big up to Doug before we move on. Hi, Doug. Doug says Brentford 2, Arsenal 1. Guys, don't forget to check out Doug. He made predictions for this week's matches as well. Go check out Doug's channel. It's nice to be back, baby. It's lovely to be back, Josh.
Love it. Love it.
I'm telling you. So, look, United versus Leeds. Let me hear your thoughts. We're not planning to be too long-winded on this one, but
I mean, this is a fixture that you don't really want as an opening game. I'll be honest. It was one of them I looked going, damn, I wish that was a bit later on in the season because this game has everything. Now, forget the one at Ellen Road where it was boring 0-0. Both teams were conservative last season. United had other things on their mind. The real one at Old Trafford, the 6-2 game. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. What a game that was. And it was typical of Marcelo Bielsa to say, this is how I'm going to play in the Premier League. I don't care who. Manchester United picked them off. They picked their press. Again, a little bit controversial here. I think Leeds United are going to struggle this season, Dom. I'm feeling second season syndrome kicking right in. Now, I've got a few mates who are Leeds fans, and they're very confident. If you meet a Leeds fan, they're very, very confident characters. But they're worried about their lack of transfer activity, Dom, which you'll probably see in a minute. Their lack of transfer activity is worrying for Leeds United. And Manchester United, on the other hand, they've strengthened with Sancho coming in. Of course, we'll see Varane probably not available. Obviously, no, will not be available coming in. But listen, I think Manchester United are going to breeze this one at Old Trafford. And I am confident. And Leeds will continue to leak goals, in my opinion, this season. What about you? What about you, Dom?
Well said. And I just want to touch on what you said in terms of the transfers. The problem with Leeds United, they play this murder ball, this Bielsa ball, which is very, very rigorous training where they go to training and they never stop running. it does help in building up endurance, but if you're weak, it does break down a player. And we've seen how hectic the schedule have been. Players have went out on international duties. So it was important for them to refresh the squad, keep bringing in players to just have options, to keep rotating. Because Leeds are a type of team, they play a very small pool of players. Bielsa does not rotate that much. I think last season, Bielsa used the least amount of players throughout the Premier League season, which is insane. And they did well. They did well. You got to give it to Leeds, man. You got to give it to Leeds. You really got to give it to them. They were very, very impressive last season. They placed 9th. That was impressive. 59 points, 18 wins, 5 draws, but 15 losses. And the thing about Leeds is it's 6s and 7s. They need a here nor there, like they win one, they lose one. They win one, they lose one. They win one, they lose one. They did have a really good run towards the end of the season where they were very consistent. But I get why you're worried about them with the second season syndrome, because they brought in Junior Firpo from Barcelona. He must be saying, thank God. Woo!
Yeah.
I'm not there. Exactly.
Yeah. And someone said in the comments that he is an upgrade. I get that. But for me, it's you know, Leeds United are a couple injuries away from being in big trouble. No, who replaces Patrick Bamford? If Bamford gets injured, who goes and leads that line? And my other question is, can Bamford have the consistency of last season? Because again, I hold my hands up. He surprised me. He smashed the Premier League a bit more than I expected. Rafinha, Rodrigo, players you can't. They're great players. You get their best 11 out, quality.
Yeah, the thing about Leeds, where I think Leeds may prove you wrong or their doubters wrong, is their versatility. They have a very versatile bunch of players, where Rodrigo could play up top, Tyler Roberts could play up top, maybe a false 9. But the breakout player that caught everyone's eyes was that Rafinha. Rafinha, woo! What a player, man. What a player. Very, very skillful. Also, another deal that they got done was Jack Harrison from Man City. 12 million euros. That's a very good player to lock down.
I'm a bit hit and miss with him, Dom, and a few Leeds fans. Well, he is there's a player there, but his end product is why he's not made it to the top, and I think that's one of his downfalls, Jack Harrison. But again, there's a player there.
Yeah, he didn't do too bad last season though. He's actually 24 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, he didn't do too bad last season. And if we just go back and check his stats from last season, let's just take a look at his stats from last season just to touch on that. Not bad return, Josh. Okay. 36 games, which shows that he was fit for the entire season. 8 goals and 8 assists is not bad. I think Jack Harrison ripped up the league last season.
You'll take that. To be fair,
I would have actually taken Jack Harrison back to City.
Wow. Okay.
I would have, if I had the choice, I'd be like, keep him at City. He is good enough. I think he is good enough. A funny story about Jack Harrison. I actually saw him before in person when he was at NYFC. And it was 2018. My wife and I were going on a cruise, and the NYCFC team was traveling on the same plane. Patrick Vieira was the manager. So I actually got to meet Vieira. I made a video about it and everything, a quick video. And then when we landed in Miami or wherever we were going, Tampa or wherever, I think it was Tampa. I think we were in Tampa. That's where the boat was, the cruise ship. I actually got to take a picture with David Villa. And from what I recall, I can't remember if my wife took the picture or if Jack Harrison took the picture. I think it was Jack Harrison who took the picture. It's either Jack Harrison took the picture or I told Jack Harrison to excuse me so I could take a picture with David Villa. Because at that time, Jack Harrison was obviously a nobody. You see what I'm saying? But I actually saw him in person. He's small. He's very small. You know, he's very small. And I'm not the biggest guy comparing to guys like Doug. Doug said he's a giant. How tall are you, if you don't mind?
I'm 5'7.5". That half is very important.
I'm taller than you. You're Jack Harrison. You and Jack
Yeah,
Harrison. Yeah.
Mm.
You're like one of those short guys who has like, you're probably quick. You know, you
Yeah.
got that center of gravity, and yeah. So that's a cool story about Jack Harrison, though. I haven't really met a lot of footballers in New York, but maybe one day when I come to England to watch a game, I'll get to see the players live and direct. You do go to games as well, right?
Yeah. I mean, I had a crazy experience where I went to Poland to watch the Euro Under-21s tournament, and got on the plane, and stood behind me was David James eating a bag of chili heatwave Doritos, and we had a little chat. Really nice bloke. Got on the plane, and it was basically a UEFA Pro license coaching course. So we had James Beattie, Nicky Butt, Paul Scholes was on it, and they were all just sat there around us on the plane.
Wow.
They were just sat there trying to eavesdrop in on conversations with all these sort of ex-Premier League players. Darius Vassell, it was mad, actually. Yes, it's cool when you bump into people like that. It really, you feel like a little kid almost.
Yep, definitely, man. So just to go back to the United Leeds, and just to touch on the signings, we were talking about the signings. They also signed Christopher Clausen, a young goalkeeper from the Norwegian League, for $2 million. And that was it. In terms of departures, we had Barry Douglas left the club. Alioski left the club. He'll be missed. He went to Saudi Arabia to get that bag. He would be missed. There's also Osim Boy. He's I didn't even see him last season. He didn't play last season. A big miss for them will be Pablo Hernandez. That'll be a big miss.
Yeah, he never seemed to get on with Bielsa in the Premier League season.
Yeah,
they seem to have definitely fell out over game time position. I'm not sure, but yeah, he will be a miss.
Yeah, they didn't lose any really key players with the exception of Alioski. That'll be a big miss. That'll be a huge miss. But he played at left back. They replaced him with Junior Firpo, who's a quality player, and let us see how that one works out. So Bielsa versus Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. What do you think about United offering Ole a long-term contract? Don't you think that's mental?
Just if he wasn't a next player, it's as simple as that. He wouldn't be getting these type of deals. For me, again, United have to be finishing second. As a minimum to show where they're at in terms of progression. And he has to go and win a piece of silverware. It's just getting to a point. You can't have a manager at Manchester United go free. Is this his third season now? Or is it fourth? I'm losing track.
2019, March 2019 appointed, has not won a goddamn thing.
And has had chances after chances handed on a plate. And he still can't. You can't have a manager who can't go over the line. So this, for me, is a huge season. You've got your man, Sancho. You're going to bring in Rafael Varane. You have a team now that you're building. Go do something now. Go do something.
Yeah. They also brought in Tom Heaton from Aston Villa. So
yeah, that was a weird one.
Yeah, 35. That is a very weird one. He'll be a squad training player basically. Yeah. Maybe he'll get an odd appearance, maybe in a League Cup game. I doubt he'll play. Because you have Henderson and you have De Gea also said he could see himself at United for years to come. I think De Gea is the rotten apple in this United team. I've been saying this for a while. He's the only player that's left since the last won the title who was really involved, and he is still there, and they haven't really won anything apart from a Europa League. Axel Tuanzebe also went to Aston Villa, so I think they should have kept Tuanzebe. I think Aston Villa made a good signing in bringing in Tuanzebe to add depth to the squad, who could play all across the back line. Mm-hmm. So United are doing some weird business, man. Really weird business. That
goalkeeper situation was messed up, in my opinion, because Ollie went to trust Dean Henderson, and Henderson lost his faith, and he went back to De Gea. Both of them are problems. And people don't like me saying this, but Dean Henderson, not as good as people make out. Because when you play for a top team, and we're talking your top four, you have to be a goalkeeper that is switched on, because you're only going to have one or two big saves to make.
Yeah.
At Sheffield United, his goal was getting pounded. So every shot, every save looked impressive.
Yeah.
When he's had his chances at United, he switched off at the key moments. His position hasn't been good. He's made a mistake. And I think United, and again, I'm surprised they haven't tried to sort that out. They're just going to have this whole, and I would be screwed in my head. Am I starting? Am I not? Am I first choice? Am I not?
Yeah.
How does that help? How does that help the back four? How does that help Maguire? Sure. Varane. So, yeah, United.
I think there's a lot of pressure there too, seeing that you're stepping up ahead of De Gea and you have to perform. Or then De Gea comes back in and what becomes of you? You see? So it's like I don't get the situation. I really don't get the situation. Like to take the time to say big up to the people in the chat here. Yeah. Sebastian saying Man United ain't getting top 3. Zachary Leahy in the house. How are you doing, Zachary? What else we have here? Maiden Mary in the house. How are you doing? Kickoff football. We have Joshua Wilkinson. Leeds signed Fairpo from Barcelona. We already touched on that. And what else we have here? Ivan Yu. Should Man United sign another striker? What if Cavani is injured? They have Rashford, who's currently injured right now. Martial coming back from injury. So United are in that type of place where I think they'll be all right, but I don't see them. I could say this. I don't see United winning the title. I don't see them. And they should have been up there in the talks of people confident. Yeah, United are really serious contenders. Because I think last season they could have pushed City if they had kept winning. If they had just kept winning and kept the pressure on, they could have actually pushed Man City really, really hard, because at the back end, City was actually dropping a lot of points. So I don't know, man. I really don't know. So I think we touched on the signings for both these teams. It's a big derby, Roses derby. Last season, a 0-0 draw for the last game, match day 33. But the 6-2 loss suffered by Leeds, that was embarrassing. I actually expected a better game, and we didn't get a better game. We just had Man United just
killed them in the first 5 minutes.
Took them to the cleaners, man.
Yeah.
Took them to the cleaners. So look, man, United with your boy Bruno Fernandes still there, Pogba still there. The team, Juan Mata, I heard, sign another long-term contract, like an extension. I don't know why, but let's see what happened with United this season, man. Let's see if they're gonna get to the Champions League quarterfinal or semifinal and get knocked out. Let's see what they're gonna do, and I'm just curious to see what comes out of this game. Do you have a prediction for me so we could move on to the next one? We have a lot more teams to talk about. Yeah. So,
my prediction, I've gone with a 3-1 Manchester United win. 3-1.
There will be goals. I do agree. I have a 3-2 win for United, seeing that they are at home and they do give teams chances at home. They are a better away team. They were a better away team last season. But there will be fans at the stadium. Let's not forget to factor in the fans, because it does make a difference. For some teams that has that atmosphere, like a Liverpool, maybe not a Man City, right? But for Liverpool, for these smaller clubs, the fans are integral in the way they play. And I think that's what hurt Liverpool a lot last season. Yeah. So I'm going for United 3, Leeds United 2. It's going to be back and forth. It's going to be an open game. We know that Leeds, Bielsa, they do not back down. They just go at you. They don't play that type of football where they kind of play pragmatic and they sit back and soak up. Leeds would take you on. And that's what makes them very, very dangerous. It could go any way. But I'm going for United to start with a win. So, big up to the boy, Monameli Mokasi, who says, come on, guys. I hate United as much as the next guy, but they will definitely get top 4. So, we have Julian saying 2-1 to Leeds. Julian is a City fan, so I don't know, man. Come on, guys. Let's keep it unbiased. Let's be objective here. But if that's your predictions, that's your prediction. It could happen. Brawl
Yeah.
Barry, 3-1 United. Game changer, 5-1 United. It could
Oh.
happen. It could happen. It could happen. What we got here? Ivan U. I will go for 2-0 United win. We have Lame Albert with a 6-6 draw. What if we do get a 6-6 draw though? that would be a classic though. That would be a classic. Steve McCullough, 3-3. Crazy game incoming. Palomo, a 3-1 to United. Patrick Silk, a 3-1 to United. Kickoff, a 4-2 to Leeds. 80 Booth, it's always good to see Leeds lose. So I'll say a 4-1 Man United. Lovely, lovely, lovely. It's Ole, 2-1 is more realistic. Elevator Kid, 2-1 to United. Antoine Eugene, 2-1 to Leeds. Jordan Hyman, a 2-0. All right, that'll be it in terms of the predictions we actually read out, and we're going to move right on to the next game. And if you guys have anything to add in the chat in terms of if a player's unavailable through injury or any little tidbit, please feel free to leave it in the chat. I will definitely appreciate that. Look, Josh, I tend to get very long. I could go deeper. I could talk about the history between these two clubs. I could get into the head-to-head and where United does lead Leeds in head-to-head. Leeds only have 4 all-time Premier League wins against United. I could get deeper and deeper, but I don't really want to get too into it. You see what I'm saying? United have never lost in a Premier League at home to Leeds United. Just for some more insight there. So it's going to take a lot to actually to beat United here.
It is.
I'm ready to see what Sancho is going to do. Thank goodness we got some money from that deal, so it's a good situation for us still. But Sancho is a snake. I just want to put that out there, man. There's no loyalty. The players are not. They're not supposed to. Expect them to be loyal. And it comes back to the whole Jack Grealish situation. We should not expect players to be loyal to clubs. This is a fan thing. Fans are always loyal. So we have Jersey Boy coming in with the breaking news. Fabrizio says Spurs change stance. City will bid 150 million euros, which is just about maybe 110 million pounds for Harry Kane. Wow. That is huge. That is huge, man. That is huge. So that is huge. So big up to my Chelsea brethren here. He does have a channel. Chelsea Fan TV, Bangalorean. Thank you for coming through. Just having a nice little discussion with my boy Josh here. And we only on match 2. We're going to move on, though. Let's talk about Leicester City versus... Oh! Leicester versus Wolves, man. Thoughts?
Yeah. Hard one. Because I really do not know what to expect of Wolves this season. I'm really unsure. New manager coming in with Bruno Lage. The fact is that they have lost, what I would say some momentum in the project at Wolves, I believe. And I think one of those big moves was obviously Diogo Jota going to Liverpool. I feel like it killed Wolves more than they knew. Raul Jimenez, he'll be back. But is he going to be the same player? Is he mentally at a stage where he can compete to how he was? And listen, I think it's a really curious case. You've got these sort of rumblings about Ruben Neves. Is he staying? Is he going? Will they be a back three under this new manager? Will they go to 4 at the back? There's lots to think about with Wolves. Whereas on the opposite hand, Leicester City, a club for me that is growing and growing and growing. And it's refreshing to see. It's refreshing to see a team that is doing... You can't help but fall in love with the chairman and the ownership and the way that club is run. You can't help but fall in love with Kasper Schmeichel and how he is as a professional. They've made some great signings in Ryan Bertrand, in Patson Daka. I just think Leicester have improved their squad. Now, losing James Maddison, as crazy as this might sound, Leicester will survive and if not be okay. Harvey Barnes as well, Dom.
Yeah.
he would have been, for me, a player who had a good shot of being in the Euros for England.
Yeah,
if it
definitely.
wasn't for his injury. Two teams for me, one on the up, one an unknown quantity, I think, this season.
Well said, man. Well said, Josh. So just to touch on Bruno Lage, he's Portuguese. He's 45 years old. He does have experience working in England. He's a former Benfica manager where he managed for 74 matches. And he was also the assistant manager at Swansea City and also at Sheffield Wednesday. So he does have experience in England. So we can't really underestimate him too much.
No.
But from Benfica to Wolves is a big step up in terms of from the Portuguese league to the Premier League. I'm not saying Benfica is a small club, by no means at all. But it will be a tough task. We knew that they had to bring in a Portuguese manager, seeing that they already filled the team with Portuguese players, and they're still doing it. So this Portuguese team, it's a very tricky situation for them because Nuno is the one that crafted this team to what it came to be. Back-to-back 7th place, I think, but they dropped off last season big time because of their lack of squad depth, where we saw when Raul Jimenez got injured, it was all downhill, all literally downhill for Wolves. They couldn't score. They didn't know how to put the ball in the back of the net. And with Raul Jimenez back, he's a bit rusty. He has not played football for what, 9 months now. You see what I mean? So I think they will struggle. I'm going to put it out there right now. Wolves will struggle. I'm not going to go as far as to say they're going to get relegated. I think they still have the quality, but they're going to flirt. They are going to flirt with relegation. Let me just put that out there.
I mean, players like Adama Traore got to step up this season. What a flop he was last year. What was it? 1 goal, 0 assist, or 1 goal, 1 assist? It was something crazy bad numbers. Has to step up. All right, Pedro Neto. I've heard a lot about you, Daniel, and I know I've heard a lot. Daniel Pedence. I've heard a lot. Yes, you've had some injuries, but again, time to step up, lads. Time to show what you're worth. And I think you're right, Don. They are a team who really could struggle if their big name players won't deliver, because their squad depth isn't there.
Facts. So in terms of squad depth, they add Ryan Aït-Nouri to the squad, 20-year-old French-Algerian left back who was there on loan last season, 11 million euros. Jose Sa came in to replace Rui Patricio, who went to Roma, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so 8 million euros from Olympiacos. Sa is a quality goalkeeper, but nowhere near the experience and the quality of a Rui Patricio.
No.
Yesen Mosquera, Colombian from Athletic Nacional, 5 million. He's a center back, 20 years old, youngster again, so not much experience there. Bendegus Bola, a 21-year-old right back from, I think that's Frank Varos. Yeah, one of them teams from Hungary, 2 million euros. And Francisco Trincao from Barcelona. He flopped hard last season. Yeah. He was a big money signing, came in, and he's flopped, but he's on loan. So let's see what he can do. In terms of outgoings, Rui Patricio is the biggest name. Ruben Vinagre. I'm confused to why Vinagre even left last season. Yeah. And why he left again this season, because he was a quality player.
Yeah.
So I think there might be some type of dispute with him. And the aforementioned Bendegus Bola, the young Hungarian, also went out on loan. So Vitinha, he went back to Porto. Willian Jose went back to Sociedad. And they haven't done much to strengthen their team. And I think Wolves are going to be in a lot of trouble. And with saying that, on the opposite end, a Leicester City. Leicester City are one of the most attractive clubs right now. But they have to get top 4. They blew it the last 2 seasons. They have to absolutely get top 4. But They are looking good. They are doing some damn good business, and you have to give it to Leicester City, man. How attractive is this club right now? Very,
So
very
attractive.
attractive. They're more attractive than a beautiful woman walking down the street on a hot summer's day in a sundress. That's how good they look right now. They're a nice team, man. They're a really nice team.
Yeah, they're. You've made that analogy as well. They're, for me, they're more attractive than Arsenal. Maybe, maybe even Spurs. Maybe even Spurs right now. But as a supporter of Villa, to see Leicester not get that top four 2 years in a row, man, that was hard. That was hard. I
Yeah.
want them to do it. I want them to do it. I want them to break that mold. I really
Do you
do.
do you think it's a Brendan Rodgers effect or?
Oh. Yeah, there is a bit of that. There is a bit of that. If it happens a third time and it genuinely comes down to the last game, you have to ask the question. You keep bringing in new players. It's got to be the
Yeah,
manager. It's got to be the manager. What's going wrong? Why can't he see a game over the line? Because I don't think
exactly.
we've got that nitty gritty. Let's bank up. Let's make sure we don't lose today. So yeah,
But
that's
let's
exciting.
let's give it to him though. I like to take the time to congratulate Leicester for winning last season's FA Cup, which qualified them for the Community Shield, and they went on to win that one goal to nil. I think as soon as I saw the Man City lineup, I was like, we're not winning this game. And I'm a Man City fan if you're in here and you don't know. I'm like, we're not winning the game because Pep totally, he was a bit too relaxed, and the team he put out, I don't know. But Leicester, they went for it. They went for it. And Julian, I see you saying never a pen. That was 1,000% a pen, because Nathan Ake, who I'm a little concerned about, that first touch was horrible. And he was very sloppy when he fell to the floor and brought down Iheanacho. And I got to give it to Leicester. They're one of the most progressive clubs. They treat their team and their players very, very well. And you could see that bond between owners, the board, and the players. There's not a big gap like some other clubs. There's not a big gap. So you got to give it to Leicester City. In terms of transfer business, for Leicester, they have done some transfers. They brought in Patson Daka, 22-year-old Zambian from Salzburg, 30 million euros. And he looked good in that game as well. Then Bubakari Sumare from Lille, 22 years old, 20 million. And he's quality, box to box. And he looked good when he came on for his little cameo. They did well bringing in Ryan Bertrand, left back. They have a problem in the left back situation where Christian Fuchs have left the club. James Justin had to move over from right to left. He picked up an injury. Luke Thomas is not experienced enough to shoulder the burden. Ryan Bertrand, Champions League winner back in the day with Chelsea. Quality signing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And those are the three signings they made. And it's good. They brought in what they need. And it doesn't look like they're going to lose anybody really. Maybe a James Maddison. But as we saw, when Maddison was injured, Leicester were okay. They were really okay. So Christian Fuchs outgoing, Matt James to Bristol City, Wes Morgan has retired, and Cengiz Under went back to Roma. That's a transfer business done by Leicester City. So Leicester versus Wolves. This is somewhat of a derby in terms of, to me, Foxes versus Wolves. And has not been a lot of exciting games, where the last 4 games have only seen one goal, with a Leicester win, 1-0 win back in November last season, a 0-0 draw in the second match, 2 0-0 draws the season before, and the Wolves win the season before that, a 4-3 thriller. And before that, it was Leicester getting the better Wolves. So look, this one is a tricky one to predict, but Leicester looks better. I'm going to let you share your prediction first, and then we're going to move on.
Yeah, I think for me, the numbers are saying to me, and you look at form, it's all about Leicester. Good momentum. I've gone with Dom, another 3-1 win. Gone with another 3-1 win for Leicester City, of course.
I'm going to go for Leicester to win this game 3-0. I think Wolves are going to struggle to score. Raul Jimenez might be very reluctant to go into 50-50 clashes and, with his head injury and everything. So I'm going to say we'll start off with a loss. Leicester start off with a bang. And they're going to be a very attractive team to look at this season. Big up to the boy Ryan LFC in the house. How are you feeling? Nice to see you in here. Hopefully, we have you on the channel this season to do one of these. Even if you could come on for 30 minutes, 45 minutes to share your thoughts on Liverpool. So, what we're going to do, we're going to read out some of your predictions and we're going to move on. We have to get things going in terms of in terms of speed. We're going very slow. Jason Jordan. Yo, Dom, it's been a long time. How are you guys? We're good. I'm good. Doing well. So we have Brawlberry 2-0 to Leicester. Jason the GOAT. Leicester for the win. Julian Leicester. Well, Leicester 1-0. We have Elevated Kid 2-1 to Leicester. Should I continue? Everyone's going for Leicester. We have Sebastian saying a 2-2 draw. What else we have? Jimenez hat-trick. Okay, we have 3-2 to Wolves. You never know, man. You never know.
He's gone for some crazy scorelines.
Yeah, I know.
I love that.
Game changer 4-1 to the Foxes. Excuse me. They still have Jamie Vardy. The Vardy factor is still there. Iheanacho, Patson Daka. Leicester are going to be a force, man. Seriously.
Look, Vardy's got an incredible record as well at the start of the season. Unlike, where people talk about Harry Kane's poor record. Which is a bit of a myth now, but Vardy's he was 6-6 or something last year. He loves to start with a bang. Jamie Vardy loves it.
We have Stuart Barkley saying, Dominic, please try and bring back Ryan. I miss the fire. We'll try to get Ryan on this season. You know what I'm saying? We'll try to get Ryan on, even if he could come on for a little 25 minutes to share his thoughts on the Liverpool game or how Man City or United are doing. So, yeah. Look, man, we're going to move on. We're going to move on to the next one. And we got Chelsea versus Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace with a new manager in Patrick Vieira. Chelsea still doing the damn thing. Champions League winner. UEFA Super Cup winners yesterday on penalties where Thomas Tuchel, masterstroke, actually bringing on Kepa just for the penalty shootout and him being a hero. So Chelsea are going to be a force to be reckoned with. Romelu Lukaku incoming as well, and maybe more. Josh, what are your thoughts here, man?
Scary. If I'm a Man City fan, they're the team I'm checking both shoulders because they're going to bring it. And do you know what? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can learn a lot from Thomas Tuchel. How to win big games. Because that's what he brings. The players do the rest in the other games. So listen, I'm buzzing to see what Chelsea are going to bring to the table. And do you know what? Some of the players who didn't really step up last year, Ziyech, Pulisic, couldn't quite find their form and rhythm. That's fine, because they'll have their chance this year. Havertz, there's a lot of hype about Havertz this year and what he can bring. And then, I'm sorry, but Lukaku is just. He is one of those players that could be unplayable on his day. On the other end of the scale, Crystal Palace. Patrick Vieira might have been a good player, but his management record, a lot to be desired for. And the Palace board, I get it. You've gone for something new, fresh. You've gone from Roy Hodgson. You've gone from 4-4-2. You've gone from performances that haven't got the Selhurst faithful off their feet. And that atmosphere, those fans, by the way, Dom, and we talk about fan factor, my gosh, how Crystal Palace have missed those fans because they are a driving force of that team. They've gone young with their signings. Eze missing because he is a future baller. Birch Eze, he is a different class. Yeah. I just there's only one team for me that's winning this opening weekend, and I really can't get my head around Palace. I don't know if it's a gamble. I don't know if it's a gamble that might fail, or they finally break their duck. They haven't finished in the top 10 for a long time. So yeah, it's an interesting one. I don't know how you feel.
Well, we know Palace are a type of team that has ambition. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But it kind of failed when they tried to be ambitious a couple seasons ago with Frank de Boer. We know how disastrous of a manager. We know he's just disastrous. We saw what he did with that very good Dutch team as well. And he's gone. Atlanta United, he's gone. So look, Roy Hodgson had to come in and do his thing. Are we going to see a situation where they bring in Patrick Vieira, he flops, and they have to call for Sam Allardyce? You never know. You never ever know. They might have to call for the fixer here this season, because Patrick Vieira did not do too well at Nice. And we know Nice are a team that has good financial backing. They were bringing in the signings, and he didn't really do anything. He was basically bottling Champions League place and all that type of stuff. I didn't really got big into following Nice, but I knew what was going on, right? They have an ambitious project. You could see from their signings and all of that, and we're going to get into that pretty soon. But they're type of team that they're so hard to predict. There are days they could come and they could beat you off the park with Wilfred Zaha, Christian Benteke. I can't call too many other names because they had a contract situation where hordes of players have left the club. And we're also going to get into that when I get to the transfer dealings. It's going to be a tricky season for Crystal Palace where they could be in a situation where they're fighting for survival. I'm just going to put that out there right about now. So just to touch on Chelsea's transfer of dealings, not many incomings, only Marcus Bettinelli coming in. I think he's a goalkeeper.
Yeah, it'll be a Tom Heaton equivalent.
Basically, he'll be like what's it call it there? Willie Caballero type keeper, just there for training. These guys, a lot of people don't realize these guys are very important, because they're part of training and they're just part of the team. They're part of the framework of the team. So not because they're coming in as a third choice keeper, it's very important. They may be called on as the season go along. You might have a situation, 2 goalkeepers get injured and you need a backup. They also let Billy Gilmore go out on loan as well. So that's another. Yeah, he went to Norwich City. So let's see what becomes of that one. We'll get to that pretty soon. But they have been selling players. Tomori to AC Milan, Victor Moses to Spartak Moscow, Olivier Giroud for €1 million to AC Milan. They have a good relationship with AC Milan, it seems. Marco Van Ginkel. Finally, he's off the books. He went to PSV. Danilo Pantic, free transfer. Easy Brown. Finally, he has left Chelsea as well. He's been on loan all the time. He's gone to Preston. And he's still, I think he's injured right now. Willie Caballero has left the club. And Jamal Blackman has left the club as well. So that's the transfer dealings for Chelsea. We know last season they spent €250 million bringing in Havertz, Werner, Chilwell, Ziyech, Edward Mendy, and I have to say it has paid off 100%. Also, they sacked Frank Lampard, brought in Thomas Tuchel. It has paid off. Chelsea's ruthless transfer policy has been paying off. Sack the manager, bring in a new one. Get rid of that player, bring in new players. It has been working. They're winning things. Maybe Man United need to take that approach. Maybe Arsenal need to take that approach. And they'll start winning things again. I mean, on a consistent basis. So, look, this one is pretty easy to predict, bro. This one is very easy. But wait, I don't mean to get too far ahead. Let me just touch on Crystal Palace's transfer dealings, and then we share the predictions, and we'll move right on. This one isn't something we have to stay very long talking about. But I have to say that Chelsea are the team to watch this season. Lukaku coming in, maybe a big defender. But Chelsea, I have to say, will be, I'm saying this with confidence too, title contenders.
Can agree more.
I did not say that about United. Title contenders. If it's one team Man City has to watch closely, it's Chelsea. Crystal Palace. This is a London derby. Mark Guehi coming in from Chelsea under 23 for 23 million. This is big for a player who is not proven at the top level. This is huge. Joachim Andersen, that's a quality signing.
Yep.
That is a quality signing. He's a Dane, and we saw what Denmark did at the Euros, and he was involved as well off the bench. 17 million euros from Olympic Lyon. Michael Olise, 19-year-old attacking midfielder, a type of an Eze type move.
Yeah.
And I heard he did well last season. I don't know too much about this player, but I heard he did well. 9 million. You know anything about this Michael Olise kid?
Yeah, so obviously Reading had a sensational season in the Championship. Wasn't quite good enough, but he was massive. He was a massive breakthrough for them, and he's going to be electric. He'll be electric, but again, it's a different level, isn't it? It's a different level, and that's what I've got to say about all these transfers. It's on paper they look exciting, promising, but realistically, it's a step up that not many of them have experienced.
True. There's also Conor Gallagher. I did not know about this one. Moving from West Brom on loan to Crystal Palace on loan from the Chelsea under 23s as well. So he's a quality player. He looks like he could have a bright future if he keeps his head on his shoulders.
Was he loaned, or was that a transfer?
He's loaned.
He's loaned. So he can't play.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's another big miss for them in that.
Yeah, he can't play, but Guehi is a transfer, so Guehi can play. There's also Reece Hannum, upgraded from the Crystal Palace youth team. They actually brought in Jacob Montes from, New England Revolution, a 22-year-old American, El Salvadorian, I think, attacking midfielder. So they're making some risky signings. But what's your predictions? Let's move on. We don't need to stay too long on this one. Chelsea. Okay, Chelsea. Let's wait. Let's say our predictions together.
All right.
1, 2, 3,
4-0.
1. 3-1.
I did have 3-1 originally, but I think it's going to be an absolute destroying of. But I think it's going to be welcome to the Premier League again, Patrick Vieira. Have a nice day, sort of thing. Goals. I'm glad that everyone's thinking about goals, though. That's what I like to see.
Yeah. So look, we're gonna move right on, but before we do, let's just get a few predictions. We have Elevator Kid 3-0 to Chelsea. Oliver 4-0. What we got here? Oliver, how come you're saying 1-1 here and then you go to 4-0? Come on, bro. Come on. 0-0, snooze fest draw, Brawlberry 2-0. I doubt that's gonna happen.
I think Oliver's not happy with he's a Palace fan. He's from my channel. He's a Palace fan. He's annoyed that I said 4-0 against his team, I think.
I see. Kickoff 3-1 to Crystal Palace, and everyone have a nice week. Oh wow. Woo, that's tricky.
Wow.
That is tricky. So Stuart Barkley 3-0. Jordan Hyman 2-0, Antoine Eugene 4-1, BTK Julian 4-2 to Chelsea, Brain Sample 2-0 to Brain Sample, what a name, 2-0 to Chelsea. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. So Sebastian 3-0. We're gonna move right on. We're gonna get this thing moving. Look, let's just run through a few of these smaller fixtures. Let's talk about Burnley versus Brighton. We should spend about 3 to 4 minutes on this one and then move right on, because we have a few big ones to talk about, and we don't want to stay here all day. Guys, if you haven't yet liked the video, make sure you do so. We have 75 people in the live stream right about now. Let's get the stream closer to 100. Thumbs up. Smash the thumbs up button for my boy Josh in the house from A View from the Stands. You could check out his channel. I put a link in the chat there, and I will put a link in the description. I actually should whip up the description with a link right now as Josh gives us his thoughts on Burnley versus Brighton.
Oh, can you believe this is Burnley's 6th year in the Premier League? And credit to them. They work off a shoestring budget, and they still manage to compete. But they are a team that I do always fear about. As for Brighton, they have become the 3-0 specialist in terms of the opening game of the Premier League. If you look back at Brighton, they seem to love an opening day 3-0 win and leading at half-time. So Brighton, for me, I touched on it when we talked about Ben White. Fantastic defensively last season. And Graham Potter is a hyped-up manager, a fantastic defensive coach, but they can't put the ball in the back of the net. If you went on expected outcomes, expected goals, Brighton should have finished in the top half, which tells me everything you need to know about that team. Sign a striker, because Danny Welbeck and Neil Maupay, for me, not there. And I still haven't seen that big move yet. Edouard, can he join from Celtic? Can he be the one over? I haven't been keeping up to date on terms of what that Edouard situation is. But get a striker and you're top, and you're moving places, Brighton. As for Burnley, Dom, we know what to expect with Burnley. 4-4-2, hard to beat at Turf Moor, compact, get the ball into Chris Wood, play off him, and will always be a threat. But
so, well said, Josh. Burnley finished 17th. Brighton finished 16th last season. And Brighton, they're a team that showed a lot of promise, man. And it's just that they could just not finish games off. They did not manage games right, properly, I should say, and they were the draw kings of the league last season. They were in a good position to win. They would go on to lose the game or draw the game. So I think they have to get over this. If Brighton actually, let's just, if I look at the table from last season, Brighton had 15 draws, right? No. They had 14 draws last season and 15 L's. I'm pretty sure that at least 7 out of those losses they could have won, and at least half of those draws they could have won as well. They would have been playing European football if they just finished games off properly, and if they just finished their chances, because Neil Maupay could be brilliant at times, very annoying at times, very frustrating, very stupid at times. And then Danny Welbeck, he's trying to basically keep his career afloat, and injury is always a problem for Danny Welbeck. I think Brighton, with that Ben White money, they should strengthen in the department that they need strengthening, and that's up top. And they need some competition for Neil Maupay and co. And they're a type of team that always makes these little bits and pieces signings, like these players you never really heard about. Yeah. And they do a job, but it's not the player you need to take your team to the next level. You see what I mean? Like last season, bringing in Jakob Moder, they brought in a player like Moises Caicedo, who was linked to Man United as well, Andy Zakiri. These little players, Joel Veltman, you know what I mean? Like, it's like these players are not going to take you to the next level. And we are seeing basically the same thing again this season. They brought in a player by the name, we're talking about the striking position, right? They brought in Enoch Mwepu from a Zambian. There was a Zambian trio over there at Salzburg. They brought in Mwepu for 23 million euros, right? They should have put in for maybe a striker, a quality striker. But there's also the situation where the club might not be that attractive to attract the players that you actually want. So that's the thing. They also brought in Kjell Scherpen, a player from Ajax. Never heard about him. He's a goalkeeper. Kowaro Mituma, he also went out on loan. He was brought in from Kawasari Frontal. He went out on loan. And that's it. That's it for the signings. They sold Ben White, 58 million to Arsenal, euros that is. Alireza Jahanbakhsh went back to the Dutch league to Feyenoord this time around. Davy Proper left the club. And Bernardo left the club as well. He's a left back. Matt Ryan left the club. He went to Sociedad. And Jose Izquierdo, who, since he picked up a horrible injury, never really came back. No. So Brighton are in a situation where they could also be struggling towards the bottom of the table again and trying to fight off relegation. Graham Potter, you got to work your magic, bro, or else it's problems again. As for Burnley, they're also a team, not a lot of transfers, and they're a team, as you said, a shoestring budget. They had American takeover last season, so we will see maybe a few more signings. Who knows? But I think Burnley would always be that team who just wants to survive. They'll just play for survival. They'll grind out results, results like they picked up against Liverpool last season and all. And they'll just keep playing just to survive another Premier League season. And Sean Dyche, you got to give it to him. He's done a great job with this team. Last season, 2 draws with Brighton. So it's going to be, it's going to be, and you know what? When we get to the prediction, I got a very surprising prediction for you. But before we do that, let's just touch on their transfer business, and then we'll share the predictions, and then we'll move on to the next fixture. So in terms of signings, Nathan Collins, 14 million euros, 20-year-old Irishman from Stoke. What you know about Nathan Collins?
Not too much. The name did ring a bell. I know Stoke City. Again, they're a average Championship team. So, but does sound like a Burnley type player. They just signed Brownhill from Bristol City, and he's slotted in really well in that Burnley team. So I think he'll do well.
So there's also Jacob Bedu, 21-year-old from Scunthorpe. He is a centre back as well, so they're strengthening those positions. I don't know if they think somebody might come in for Ben Mee or Tarkowski, because Tarkowski was linked to the move away for a while. So Jacob Bedu, he came in on a free transfer. A signing I do like is Wayne Hennessy, 34-year-old from Crystal Palace. He's one of the players who did not renew their contract with Crystal Palace. That's a good backup goalkeeper to have. Very good backup to have. And that's it in terms of the incomings. In terms of outgoings, Ben Gibson to Norwich, 9 million. Lucas Jensen to a goalkeeper to Carlisle United on loan. Bailey Peacock Farrell went out on loan. That might be a good thing. Whenever he's in goal, not a good thing for Burnley. Josh Benson, he went to Barnsley for an undisclosed fee. That's a youngster. And there's Jimmy Dunn, 23-year-old, went to QPR undisclosed. And Robbie Brady was basically let go. He was mostly injured all the time. So that's it for Burnley. What's your prediction, Josh? And we move on to the next one. That was fast.
I've gone with a 1-0 Burnley.
Wow.
1-0 Burnley.
I'm actually going for a draw. 1-1 draw.
Again, I can see that. I just feel Brighton are gonna need to spend that Ben White money quickly.
Yeah.
Quickly.
Turf Moor is also a difficult place to play. Very, very difficult. And we're gonna move on to the next one. We gotta find another low profile type game. We gotta talk about Aston Villa pretty soon, but we're gonna save that one. Everton versus Southampton. Let's talk.
Wow, this is
Wait.
Sorry.
Before we do, just to touch on a few, just to give the people in the chat a little, light. Yeah. Chicken Man, 1-1 to Brighton, 1-1 Brighton Burnley. Pardon there, guys. Pardon there. I didn't forget you. But let's just hit your predictions real quick. Burnley 1-0 to Brain Sample. We have Julia 0-0. We have Fraser Stewart 0-0. We have Michael. Thank you for being with us, Michael. Thank you. We have Michael Talks Football. Burnley haven't won a home game since January. Quality facts you're coming in with. And something we could do towards the end, we could bring on a few people to, if you guys want to share your thoughts. A few of you guys could jump on and give your thoughts on the proceedings. But we have to touch on these games really quick. We have Elevator Kid, Brighton, 1-0. It's going to be a bull fest. Yeah. Look at the Fabrizio tweet, bro. Listen, man, it's something called context. I don't want the Fabrizio tweet to take on, just come in and take up the time. We could touch on that towards the end of the stream, but it's probably some Harry Kane stuff, and I'll get to that. This is more important to me right about now, but we'll get to that. Maybe when we get to the Man City session. 80 boot, 2-1 to Burnley. Chris Wood to steal the points. Donovan McCrabb, big up to Donovan, man. Long time follow the channel. 2-0. LFC, Leicester City FC Farhan in 0-0. We have Julian a 0-0. Thank you very much for sharing your predictions. Zachary, Dom, heat index is 108 degrees today, 42 degrees for the weirdos. I don't get it. But it's 83 degrees right now in my neck of the woods. It's hot as hell, man. It's hot. Last night I was in this room playing FIFA. Had my son Liam sleeping. We both were sweating. Sweat the entire. It's hot. It's too hot, man. Josh, do you think global warming is a real thing?
Yeah. There's a lot to say for that.
Did you see the movie called Tomorrow War, something like that?
No.
Well,
so who watches it?
The basis of that movie is the ice caps basically melt up north, somewhere in Russia in the Arctic, and there's some aliens who had came to Earth a long time ago. They got covered in somehow by the ice, and there was a volcanic eruption, something, and the ice melt, and it just unleashed this species of alien who just ravaged the Earth, and people from the future developed a whole technology to come back to the past, to come for help from the past. So the people from the future, the people now from the present had to go into the future. It was a sick movie. So yeah, it's hot as hell, man. The ice caps are melting real quick. So look, man, let's talk Everton, Southampton.
Two clubs in a bit of a pickle again. I'm going to say Rafa Benitez will not last the season at Everton. I think he'll walk. I think he'll walk, if not sat. I don't know how I'd phrase it, but I can't see him being happy there. They're not going to be an attractive team to watch. I watched one pre-season game of Everton. It was 4-4-2. It was disgusting football. There was no Calvert-Lewin or Richarlison, which obviously are two big misses for them. But look, they just don't fill me with the confidence that I did have under Carlo Ancelotti. He's a massive miss. And you've got players like James coming out and going, well, they only signed for Everton because of Carlo, and therefore I'm not interested. And so you're going to be relying on your Calvert-Lewins, your Richarlisons. Andros Townsend and Demarai Gray, I did a little video on this. They are better than Alex Iwobi. They are better than Bernard. They are upgrades, but they're still very, very uninspiring signings to progress to top. Where Everton's ambition has got to be top 8, right? Got to be with the money they're spending. No way are they reaching that. Whereas on the other end, Saints, Danny Ings gone, and they brought in Adam Armstrong. For me, people are like, oh yeah, but Armstrong banged goals in the Championship for Blackburn. It's, again, you can't replace a proven goal scorer in Danny Ings. And you're now going to have to rely on Che Adams to step up and be the main man up there with Armstrong. Vestergaard going to Leicester City now. That looks basically a done deal. Two teams in a pickle. The only thing that helps out Everton for this opening day is that they haven't lost to Saints in 16 game encounters. They've won 11 and drawn 6. So that's the only thing that can go for them. But let's see how the Everton faithful take on Rafa Benitez in his first home game. Full crowd. Mixed bag, I reckon. Mixed bag.
Let me just start by saying Rafa Benitez is a snake. Big time snake, because he said things about Everton in the past, the small club and all of that, whatever. And he was a very, let's say, a legendary Liverpool manager, right?
Yeah.
And you went to Everton, where I say before, the only loyalty is only a fan thing. Managers are not loyal. Players are not loyal. Well, glory hunters are not loyal. But you see the real fans, let's say you and I, we're loyal. There's some fans who has 2 clubs they support in the same league. I don't know how you could do that. But Rafa Benitez, Jadon Sancho, these guys are snakes. I got to put it out there. Let's see how they perform. look, it's gonna be a tricky one for Rafa Benitez. I like the appointment because you go from Carlo Ancelotti, a legendary manager. I like what they were doing. They looked really good. It kind of fell away towards the back end of the season. They placed 10th. They could have even got Champions League at one time. We were even flirting with the idea that Everton were top of the league one time. You remember that?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's just sad what happened with Carlo being called back by Real Madrid, and he just took it and ran like really quick, like, oh, thank you very much, I'm out of here. And Rafa Benitez, I like the appointment, but the team does not have that continuity, though. You see what I mean? To be a successful club, for the club to go to that next level, they need a continuity. Look at the successful clubs, with the exception of Chelsea. They do chop and change a lot. But look at City, look at Liverpool in the last 5 years. Well, they've been very successful. Look at Leicester City with Brendan Rodgers. They've been successful. You have to have some type of continuity going, and it will help team chemistry. With Everton, always outgoings, always incomings, and I can't keep track of it. Demari Gray, Leverkusen, 2 million. It's a decent signing, but is Gray, is he gonna go up, step it up to the next level? Andros Townsend did not renew with Crystal Palace. Decent player, but very inconsistent. Asmir Begovic coming in from Bournemouth, backup goalkeeper at most. So in terms of outgoings, Bernard didn't really work out. Matthew Pennington, centre back, he hardly played. The signing that's the outgoing that's very confusing to me, though, is Josh King.
Watford.
Josh King came in last season from Bournemouth, and he's gone.
In January as well. It was a win. It's mad.
That is absolutely mad. And it's like, okay, what was that all about? Robin Olsen went back to Roma. Yannick Bolasie left the club. Mohamed Besic left the club. Benny Banninjaimi. This is a player, I thought they brought in this player last season. He went to Hearts. I could swear I saw they signed that player. But in terms of Southampton, though, I think Southampton, Ralph Hasenhüttl would have to pull a rabbit out his cap. He would have to do something miraculous for Southampton. I think Southampton are in serious jeopardy of going down. And it's left to see whether they're going to get a 9-0 trashing again this season. They just might.
Do you think Ward-Prowse will go? Do you think he'll be up?
I've been hearing someone tweet. I tweeted about the whole Southampton thing, and someone hit me up and said Ward-Prowse is linked to Villa. How true is that?
Serious chat about that. But in my head, I'm like, you can't be a club who sells your 2 best players to another Premier League club. You just can't. Like the business model, it doesn't make sense if they do that. But there's serious chat about it. Serious chat about it.
But the thing is, Southampton are a selling club, though. So I don't see why you're surprised. They sell.
They're selling club, but you go in and you buy replacements to keep you afloat. But their time is against them. And if their recruitment of Adam Armstrong is a sign of what they're using to spend money on, boy, oh boy, you might be right. You might be right. Relegation down there with Wolves.
But the Adam Armstrong signing makes sense because I looked at his record and he's been killing it, man.
He has.
He's been really killing it. And when he plays in the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, he's been killing it as well. So let's see how he transitioned from the Championship to the Premier League, because Che Adams took a while. Yeah. Che Adams would need to step up as well. And if they lose Ward-Prowse, they would need to get someone maybe from Aston Villa in return or whatever. They would have to make they have been making some signings that we're going to get into right now. But I think if they lose Ward-Prowse, they need to make a statement signing, or else they're definitely going down, because Ward-Prowse's deliveries are the reason why they're still in the league.
Yeah.
Because Southampton, they were looking so good, and then in 2021, they just went flat. They flatlined.
They made those silly T-shirts about being top of the league, and that was it. That was it. They wanted to stop the count of the Premier League when they were top. Made these T-shirts, made the DVD, and that's all.
I think it's the Liverpool win, man. After that Liverpool win, they just went down, man. So in terms of Southampton signings, arrivals, Adam Armstrong from Blackburn Rovers, former Premier League winner, one of the rare Premier League winners as well. 17.7 million euros, 24 years old, Englishman. He's proven. Left back, Romain Perrault from Stade Brest, 23-year-old Frenchman, 12 million. Ryan Bertrand replacement, I guess. Valentino Livramento from Chelsea under 23s, 5.9 million. One for the future. He's a right midfielder. Theo Walcott from Everton on a free. Armando Broja, an Albanian international, under 23 Chelsea player who lit up preseason. Let's see if he could do Danny Ings stuff.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I think when you give young players a chance, they could either work or they won't work. And there's times when these players actually work very, very well. So let us see how he does. There's also Nathan Teller. Remember, Nathan Teller was buzzing at the back end of last season. So they do have the some quality in their team still, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. Outgoings, Angus Gunn. The Angus Gunn situation is just sad. Very promising at Man City. Went out on loan, did well, and then got his big move to Southampton, and then that 9-0 just destroyed his Southampton career. He's now moved to Norwich. But the Danny Ings to Aston Villa, that's a huge. You guys just made that's a big signing, bro.
Huge.
If Ings is fit, he puts the ball in the back of the net. That is huge.
15-20 goals.
That is a huge signing. We're going to talk about Aston Villa next while you still have some energy. Ryan Bertrand, Wesley Hoot, Sam McQueen, Josh Sims, all gone. Dan Lundulu. And these are pretty young players. Yeah. Dan Lundulu out on loan to Lincoln City. And let's see if they'll get Taki Minamino back. I've been hearing some whisperings about that one as well. So, Southampton, Everton, what's your prediction for this game?
I'm shocked I've put this because I don't like seeing this scoreline, but I've gone 0-0. I've gone 0-0. An absolute stalemate.
Well, I've actually gone for Everton to win this one, 2-0. It would be a home game, Goodison Park. They have the boy Jordan Pickford in goal, so let's see what he does for Everton. He plays better for England in my opinion. And Everton still does have a good team. Calvert-Lewin, James is still there. They have Allen fit again. Seamus Coleman, Yeremina, Michael, what's his name there? The center back.
Michael Keane.
Yeah, Michael Keane. They still. Oh man, Luca Dean, man.
Too good. Yeah, different club. Should be a different club.
Fabian Delph is still at Everton too, right?
Yeah.
The boy Delph. I can't believe we got 100 points with Delph.
Yeah. He was a water bottle boy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like both managers won't want to lose their first game. It could be really conservative, very stale. Just didn't feel. I'm not feeling goals, but watch it now be the highest scoring game.
Let's see. But I'm fancying Everton to win this game. Southampton's the Blues will continue from last season. So Tonic, big up to Tonic, long time follower of the channel. 1-0 to Everton kickoff. 1-0 to Southampton. Chicken Man 2-0 to Southampton. Again, Dom and I agree. Glenn Oran 1-1. What else we got here? Jason the Goat, Leicester 9, Southampton 0 this season again. Let's see. Fraser Stewart is saying 1-1. So Michael Talks Football is saying, good stream, Dom, off to watch Europa League qualifying third round. You see, we got these guys who follow the nitty gritty, you know what I'm saying? But I don't have any time for that right now.
I think Celtic playing that.
So big up to Tonic, who says, "Gotta say this is a very informative preview. Thank you, man." And that's I think that's one of my strengths, and that's also one of my weaknesses, where I tend to go on for a very long time to give the necessary information, which is very good if you're like at work and you want something to listen to, or you're doing something and you want something long form to listen to. Because I'm a type of guy, if I'm listening to a podcast or a live stream of someone who I really like to listen to, it's 6 hours better for me. You see what I'm saying? But it also helps the replay value, where if it's 25 minutes, it'll get more views. But it's not all about views, man. It's also about watch time as well. Watch time is very, very important, and these live streams do help in that way. Tropical Treat, 1-0 to Everton. Julian, 0-0. Brain Sample, 1-0 to Southampton. Late winner. We got 80 boot. This match better not be one that's on the bar. 1-0 to Everton. So, Chicken Man is saying, Dominic, I'm literally at work and listening to you while working. You see? See what I'm talking about? See what I'm talking about? And I have my boy Josh with me bringing the fire as well. So what we're going to do, we're going to move on, and we're going to move on to one of the most interesting fixtures we have this weekend, because I have an Aston Villa fan with me, and they will take on new boys Watford, who came second in the championship last season, where Aston Villa placed 11th, a drop-off at the back end, but they were damn impressive. Josh, take it away. Let us talk about Villa. Let's talk about Grealish. We don't want to be too long, but we're going to touch on everything we need to touch on.
So, whirlwind of, I would say, a couple of years. Ever since championship playoff failure against Fulham, where we had John Terry as captain, where we wanted to bounce up. It's been crazy, and I think, we'll still to this day have people reminding Aston Villa fans that the only reason we're in the Premier League is because goal line technology wasn't working, and that comes up. But for me, we're a club that have just lost arguably one of the, he is the most expensive British transfer record fees, and Jack Grealish, 100 million. He's one of the most influential players of our club, or was at our club. Everything through Grealish brought success. When he wasn't in the team, we weren't the same. However, most people would be down in the gloom. You've just lost Jack Grealish. How are we going to move forward? What the Villa ownership have done, and Johan Land, the sporting director, is they've come in with some quality signings. Leon Bailey, Emi Buendia, Danny Ings. 3 players for the price of 1. And you got 10 million change as well, by the way. They put a spin on it in a sense that I could still be sat here doom and gloom in my boxers, sitting here crying that we've lost Jack Grealish, but I'm not. And a lot of Villa fans feel like that actually we can move forward. We're in a good position. And we're going to bring in, we brought in Axel Tuanzebe on loan. We've got a few more, I think, in the pipeline, as we talked about earlier. James Ward-Prowse, potentially. There are, I reckon, 1 or 2 more coming in. And what I can say is, and I feel confident in saying this, we will finish better than we did last season. And we finished 11th. And I believe we will finish better than we did last season. We play Watford in our opener, who I can't stand Watford, Dom. I've never liked Watford. Never liked Watford.
Let me say this. Can't stand them either. That's why every time we play them, we smash them.
Yeah, I love that. There's 2 things about Watford that I detest. Number 1, Troy Deeney. He's a blue nose, so he's a Birmingham City fan. He is an absolute cannon of a bloke. Sometimes I'm like, he's been on Talk Sport a few times at one of the big radio stations here, and he's on. And and you think, you know what, I like you, Troy. And then all of a sudden you remind yourself of what actually the other side of him, and he doesn't mind being hated. And then the second thing is their manager, Ferrier, that really, really winds me up. Really, really does wind me up. And I'm looking forward to playing Watford. I think we can go there and show people what we're going to be about this season. And I think there are a lot of people outside of Aston Villa. I don't know if you know, Don, who you actually look at us now and go, okay, this club are on the rise. This club are going to do bits. Yeah.
Listen, man, Aston Villa, let me say this. You guys are a big club. You got Champions League, old Champions League, but you got a Champions League trophy. You see what I mean? You have history. When I want to talk about City, people say, where's your history? But for Aston Villa, you guys have history. You're historically one of those quintessential English clubs. And I think you guys are back. It's been 2 seasons now, survived. Last season, you did better than the previous. You guys are back. You guys are a scary, scary team. When you look at the roster, it's scary. With Grealish, it's a lot better. Without Grealish, not so dangerous, but you guys have to learn to play without him. And last season was a lesson. You have to learn. And you saw towards when he was about to come back, Villa started to play better without Grealish. And I think they had to come to the realization that he was leaving as well, because there were whisperings already last season about Grealish leaving.
Yeah.
He stayed, but now he's a City player.
Yeah.
To touch on the Grealish situation, he had to move. It's his first ever transfer. He's 25 years old. If he doesn't take it now, it might not come in the future. His form could desert him. He could get an injury. Whatever. Villa could get relegated again, and then he goes to join Newcastle or one of them other clubs. I'm just saying. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Grealish is now going from basically being the man Aston Villa Football Club revolves around to basically joining a bunch of revolving gears at City, where he's not that focal point. So the pressure is off him. He could now do his thing. The pressure is still on him, seeing that he's the most expensive British English player ever, and he came in for 100 million. But there's players within Man City squad who would go for way more than that. So he's not the man in the dressing room anymore, if you understand. So a little bit of burden is off his shoulders. He now gets to play Champions League football. It's just different facility. I watched a few of his videos, and he is just like a kid in a candy shop at City now, because everything is just bigger. Everything, the prospects of just winning things are just there. So he had to move. Villa, as you said, they did good with the money. I'm not saying Villa had money already, but they did good with the money. And if you look at the signings that they made, there's some impact signings, right? Buendia, he's the reason why Norwich are up in the Premier League again. Norwich won the championship, 97 points. Why? Emiliano Buendia. I think he's currently injured, right?
So he's had a knock, but I don't know if it's a precautionary one. It's a very one that they're keeping under the radar. So I'll be looking out to see if he emerges in training, basically, tomorrow.
And I think James Ward-Prowse signing would be huge for Aston Villa. I think James Ward-Prowse deserves more than Southampton, to be completely honest, because he's a quality player, and watching him suffer 9-0 and just keep losing how many games in a row they lost last season, it's just sad, man, for such a quality player. Danny Ings, that Danny Ings signing, once Danny Ings stay fit, oh my God. Leon Bailey. I'm curious to see what Leon Bailey does. I know the Jamaicans are going to be all over that one. I'm curious to see what Leon Bailey does in the Premier League. This one has been a long time coming. He was linked to City. He was linked to other clubs before. And I think Aston Villa is a good fit for him. It's a really good fit. It's a club that would allow him to do his thing. Ashley Young. What do you think about the comeback there from Ashley Young?
I thought it was a good piece of business. I thought free transfer, knows the club legend, and Mr. Versatile.
And leadership qualities, seeing that Grealish is no longer at the club. That's also something that we got to note. Look, outgoings. Ahmed El Mohammedi, he had to go up there in age. Neil Taylor as well. You got to phase out these players, these fringe players, and bring in fresh ones.
Yeah.
Beyond Engels as well, another player left the club. Tom Heaton and Mbwana Samata. Samata was a panic buy
Yeah.
because of, and he has left the club since last season, went out on loan. You did recoup $6 million from him. And
Done well.
the big one, Jack Grealish. Oh my God. This, listen, as a City fan, listen, I'm pumped. I was watching a Jack Grealish video yesterday of him just talking with some kids on the City channel, and look, while watching the Community Shield, I was so pumped up. I was like, woo, great. It's just a new signing, man. I'm just hyped over new signings, and it just felt good. And I'm curious to see what he's gonna do in that City blue, man. I'm happy for him. I want him to do well. I know there's a lot of haters out here who don't want to see him do well because it's City and all, saying that we spent $100 million on Jack Grealish. How much more? Listen, you can't pay less for a player like Grealish. He is worth every single pence and more. All of it. All. He's worth everything. And I just want to see him do well this season and shut up all the haters, man. Seriously, man. Seriously. Look, as for Watford, let's talk about them. But before we do, last time these two teams met was in 2020. That was in the Premier League. Aston Villa won 2-1, but Watford won the opening game 3-0. Watford has been performing pretty well against Aston Villa in recent times. In the last 5 games, Watford has 3 wins. Aston Villa has 2. All-time Premier League record with Aston Villa 4 wins, Watford 3, 1 draw. Home record for Watford, they have only lost once to Villa. But look, let's talk about Watford. Xisco, new manager. Could they keep Xisco for the entire season? I don't know, man. They're ruthless, man. Those Italian owners are ruthless.
I'll be surprised. I'll be absolutely surprised.
They're ruthless. But they did well. They went back. They went down and they came back up right away. And you got to give it to them. Troy Deeney, as you mentioned before, he is he is the personality in that club. But is he gonna start every game when they're back in the Premier League? That's a question, because they also brought in Emmanuel Dennis Bonaventure. They brought him in from, I think that was Club Bruges. There's also Isaac Success. I remember when Success came in, he was a big talk and never really had any success. Yeah. And they've made some signings. Let's just touch on Watford signings and then we'll move on. And there's also Ismail Assar, who came in for record fee. Did well, but got injured and got relegated. That was kind of sad. But Imran Louza from Nantes, a player I'm not so familiar with, central midfield, 10 million euros. Emmanuel Dennis, 23 years old, Nigerian, Club Bruges, 4 million. I think they got him for very cheap because he's proven himself in the Champions League, and it'll be interesting to see what happened with him. Matty Pollock, 19-year-old centre-back from Grimsby Town, 300k. Danny Rose, that's an interesting one, left back from Spurs. Ashley Fletcher, I think, is a very, very good signing. Centre-forward from Middlesbrough. He's been doing pretty well in the lower leagues for some time. Free transfer. Josh King, a free transfer. So that's why I said I'm not sure if we'll see Deeney start in games. What are your thoughts on that? Because you have Josh King, you have Emmanuel Dennis. Why is Deeney starting?
I think Deeney will expect to start, which is the issue. The presence he has in that change room, being club captain. Let's see how the manager deals with that. I still think Deeney in his head will expect to start, but he had injuries last season which held him back, and they went with a new avenue. But you're right, the transfers they've made in those positions suggest otherwise. Yeah. So let's see how Watford manage this, because could I argue that they've done a Fulham of 2 years ago, where they've signed too many players, panicked, and they're not going to gel and click. We'll have to see.
They also brought in Peter Etebo from Stoke on loan. Juraj Kučka, a Slovakian from Parma. He's 34 years old. That was a weird one. And that probably has something to do with the Italian ownership as well, even though Parma isn't under the umbrella there still. But that one was a weird one. Quarwo Ba, a left winger, 18-year-old from Rochdale, undisclosed fee. And these are the signings made. In terms of outgoing, Craig Dawson to West Ham, we know about that one. Ben Wilmot to Stoke, 1.7 mil. And there's a Adalberto Penaranda. This guy would never get a chance at Watford, man. He's back out on loan again. There's also Pontus Dahlberg to Doncaster on loan. Ashraf Lazar has left. Carlos Sanchez, who was stealing, basically. They're getting high wages. He's left the club. Well, he was actually at West Ham.
Yeah.
Yeah, and on huge wages, and then he went to Watford. Jerome Sinclair, 24-year-old Jamaican Englishman, and that's it for them. Look, man, look, I'm going to just share my prediction. Let's share our predictions together again. 1, 2, 3. 2-1. 2-1 to Villa. 2-1 to Villa. Yeah, I see Villa winning this one, but I see them conceding. Also, we forgot to mention that Emi Martinez factor, Copa America euphoria, still buzzing. The man is still celebrating. Like every time when Emi Martinez is like walking, like when he's walking, when he's doing anything, if he's showering, brushing his teeth, making love to his wife, there's like a little celebration that goes on in his head like every other minute, celebrating the Copa America win, because this guy has been huge, man. I think Arsenal missed the trick there, you know.
Didn't show him enough love. And that's all he wants, to be loved. We've done it. We gave him the love. We gave him the number one over Tom Heaton. I know, obviously, Heaton had some injuries, but they would come back at the same time. And Argentina gave him the love, gave him the number one jersey. Arsenal, been there for years. And they said, do you know what? We prefer Leno.
I have to say, Emi Martinez Emi Martinez's story is one that you could look at and you could try to emulate. Get it? Emi? You could emulate it because he was in the wilderness for about 10 years. Arsenal player for 10 years. And he played in the lower leagues, and this man worked his way back up. So if you're doing YouTube and you're not getting views, or you're doing something else, you're not getting views, you're on Twitch, you're on Twitter, you're on Instagram, Facebook, and you're trying to do something, you're not working out, keep going. Keep trying new things, keep trying new adventures. And who knows, someday you'll get your big break like Emi Martinez, because when he had that opportunity with Arsenal when Bert Leno got injured, he was undroppable. And the fact that Arsenal, being stubborn, wanted to stick with Leno, who I think could be very good at times, but also very shocking at times, they didn't make the hard call by saying, you know what, Burn, we're going to stick with Emi Martinez. But Villa said, listen, we're going to pay the money. You got him. You did better last season. He won the Copa America. And now I think he'll do very well this season. Where do you have Villa finishing this season, though?
8th.
Quality season you'll have if you finish 8th. What about 7th? 7th, a little conference. A little. You don't want a conference?
No, I'd love 7th. I would love 7th. Because I've been put on the spot before of trying to name 7 teams who I think will finish above us, and it is really tight. But listen, the Villa board, Nassi Suarez and Wes Edens, have basically said that they expect Aston Villa to qualify for the Champions League in 2023. That's how ambitious these owners are. So for me, we got to find some sort of European spot. But we are ambitious. They're spending the money. They're showing what they can do. 2023, big project going on at Villa. We are back.
You guys look good. You guys look good, and I do agree. Villa are definitely back, and they're gonna be a force to be reckoned with this season, like they were last year. Do you see another seven? What was the score against Liverpool again?
I love that. 7-2. Yeah,
Oh my
lovely.
God.
Yeah. Can I see that?
Mm.
Yeah, why not? Why not? That was mad. That was absolutely mad. And
Listen, you know what Swiss cheese looks like, right?
yeah.
Ah, man, Liverpool got Swiss cheesed up. But that may be an anomaly. It might not happen again, but let's see though. You guys were doing the business, man. Jack Grealish, Ross Barkley, freaking Ollie Watkins. Ollie Watkins. What is the situation with him though?
He picked up a little hamstring injury on Sunday, but again, we're hoping it's just precautionary, and he'll be back. Dean Smith has come out today, or was it yesterday, and basically said he doesn't see Ollie Watkins playing out wide because a lot of people are saying, "Are Villa going to play 4-2-3-1? Is Watkins going to get shoved wide left because he has played there before?" But no, Dean Smith has come out and said, "I will be playing Ings and Watkins together." I signed. That's goals. Watkins, even before we signed Danny Ings, I had Watkins down as a 15-goal plus striker. If we can get Ings and Watkins combined to score 30 goals, wow. Wow.
Listen, man, you guys are looking real. I got to say, you guys are looking good. And look, just to give you a refresh of what this Aston Villa team looks like right now, right? You have Keenan Davis, who scored his first Premier League goal, right? Last season to come off the bench. You got the boy Wesley, who came. Is Wesley fit again?
He's back.
Listen.
So we could be loaning him. We've got to make a decision between Davis and Wesley, apparently. One of them's got to go.
I think you should loan out Davis to one.
Yeah.
I think they should loan Davis to maybe Southampton. Maybe I don't know. Maybe not Southampton. They brought in players. But maybe to a club that might need another striker, like a backup striker. Maybe to a championship team. That'll do his confidence some good.
Yeah.
Wesley, I think, has the quality, and you should keep him. You paid big money for him. You should keep him. Maybe to come off the bench, cup player. But you talk about impact players like an Anwar El Ghazi, a Bertrand Traore. Bertrand Traore is on another level, man.
Yeah.
What's the situation with Trezeguet? Is he leaving the club?
He had that really nasty injury. It's put him out for a while.
Well, he's staying then. He's staying.
Trez was our hero. He was a hero. He was the one who couldn't stop scoring at the back post when we were nearly relegated. So, but that's 3 players you're talking about who are probably going to be on the bench. That's squad depth.
You guys have the depth. Jacob Ramsey looked good in the back end of the season. John McGinn is always there. Morgan Sanson hasn't really kicked on yet. I thought Conor Hourihane left the club.
We loaned him, but I think he will be one that we will get rid of. He went on loan to Swansea, but he'll be gone.
He has a little quality in him, you know. Douglas Luiz and your centre back options are solid with Courtney House. Couldn't even get a game last season, man.
No. But now we signed Axel Tuanzebe.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Villa fans speculating, are we going to go to a 3 at the back? Because if you've got Tyrone Mings and Ezri Konsa, why would you drop? If you're Axel Tuanzebe, why would you come to Aston Villa knowing that is a partnership that doesn't get broken? Are we going to change the formation? Yeah.
Depth. I think it's for depth because the schedule, remember, right? We have to factor in that. And big up to everybody still watching. If you haven't liked the video, like it. We need 24 more likes to hit 100. We have to factor in that there's going to be World Cup qualifiers coming up. And it's a 3-match window. 3-match. Before it was 2. Yeah. But now it's 3 games. It's going to be, and squads are going to be big. Players are going to get involved. Some players who never got called up are going to get called up. Guys like Bertrand Traore, all these guys are going to be involved for Burkina Faso. And you're going to need the depth. Believe me, you're going to need the depth. But Aston Villa, I'm telling you, the business that you guys have done, mind-blowing. Matt Cash, how good was he? Matt Target, when he came over from Southampton. How good were these guys? Were you guys are doing some really good business.
Yeah.
I think Arsenal need to take a page out of what Aston Villa are doing right about now. But look, we're gonna move on. We have 3 more, and I think we're gonna wrap this up in the next 20 minutes. Let's talk about Norwich Liverpool, man. Norwich Liverpool. Wait. Before we do, guys, if you guys leave any predictions, let me just read out a few predictions. Antoine Eugene 3-0 Villa, Sebastian 3-0 Villa, Jordan 3-0 Villa. We have most of you guys saying that Villa are actually gonna win this game. Jonas, a 1-1 draw. Tanik, a 2-1 to Villa. Adibu, 3-1 to Villa. Couple for Ings. Unfortunately, 1 for Deeney. Brian Sample is saying, Brain Sample, 2-1 to Villa. There will be a scare, Josh, but Villa will get the 3 points.
That's what I want to hear.
Look, I'll also like to take the time before I won't forget, but while we're still doing this, Josh, you've been a big help, man. You've been a big help. I could do this alone, but trust me, I prefer to walk in the dark with someone than by myself because it is lovely to have you on, man. And hopefully we'll have you on a few more times. As long as you're available, let me just put it out here. As long as you're available, you're free to come here. And I'm going to say this right now to all the people out there. If you're watching and you're looking to recruit people, don't come here and try to steal Josh away from me. I'm just saying that right now. Don't steal Josh away, because Josh, quality football knowledge, and he does work. He does do coaching as well. So he does know the game. And subscribe to his channel, A View from the Stands. That's where I would like to be right now, in the stands watching a game. So lovely, man, lovely. So that'll be it in terms of the predictions. Fraser Steer 2-1. Most of you guys are predicting Villa to win. But let's talk about Norwich, championship winners last season, back up in the Premier League. Daniel Farker and his boys are back to see if they can survive. The Canaries are back, making a ton load of signings. Still not really convinced by any of them. And they will play the mighty Reds. This one, anticipated game. Talk to me, Josh.
They've had some funny games, haven't they? Norwich, Liverpool in the past. Some funny, interesting games. Oh, Liverpool, what do I feel like their season's going to be? Turbulent season for Liverpool. Highs and lows. They've got some real midfield headaches, questions to come about. Is this going to be Mo Salah's last season? Is Mane going to find the form that has deserted him? And what do you do about Diogo Jota and Bobby Firmino? Because you can't play all 4. I've seen it enough times now in that Liverpool team. You can't keep both Bobby and Jota happy. One has to go. Yet, Van Dijk back. I think he'll be fine. I think he'll just be fine. Andy Robertson, missed, replaced. Trent, big season for him. There's a lot of they've done something interesting though, Liverpool, which is instead of going to sign players, they've extended your Fabinhos, your Alissons, your Trent. And I want to know what the thinking is. Is there worry about your Mo Salahs, your Manes, who are birds in their ears going elsewhere? I don't know. Interesting. You've got to get your cash out, the JFK owners, and they've got to start backing Klopp to help him. You can't just go and win the title and then not be up there for another 5-6 seasons. Challenging. Top 4, great. But you set your precedent. You went and won. You didn't defend the title very well. There were no fans. But don't drop off. Don't drop off and not be title challengers again. And this is where investment is huge now for Liverpool. Really is for me. And I've got mixed feelings about Liverpool, Dom. Really do.
Yeah, the same here. Before you touch on Norwich, I do echo some of your thoughts on this Liverpool team, though. But I'll let you continue.
And so, as that's sort of my thoughts on Liverpool. They could surprise us, they could silence us, or we could sit back quietly and go, I saw this coming. Norwich got to learn from the last time they were in the Premier League. And the weird thing about Norwich is, Dom, they are happy to be a team that goes up, goes down, goes up, goes down, as long as they are financially secure. Which is interesting if you operate as a football club. But I think they would, and Daniel Farke being manager is key, because he surely would have learnt from his last time out in the Premier League. They were too naive. They blew people away in the first couple of months. Pukki, everyone thought he was going to be the next top goal scorer in the league. Dropped. Cantwell, dropped. Their defence started getting exposed. So I think these signings, which I know you're going to touch on now, are they the right signings for Norwich? Yeah. Out of the 3 clubs that have come up, Norwich should be the club in the best position, because they've been in that Premier League. They've got the manager who's done it, because unlike Watford, they haven't. They've got the still core of our players. But I think they'll be the one who struggle the most on. I think they'll be the one who struggle the most.
When you look at Norwich's signings, it looks like they're making signings for the championship. And if you look at the signings before, it's the same thing. I don't know. Maybe they're not such an attractive club where they're going to attract a player. For example, let's say you're not going to see a player leave a Champions League club to go to play for Norwich. You see what I mean? Or a Europa League club to say, hey, let me go to play for Norwich City. Because you're like, what the hell did I just do to my career? I'm on the path here, on an upward trajectory. I left because they offered me a nice little better wages. I'll get to play in the Premier League. And now I'm in the freaking championship. Like, what is going on here? You see, so I no disrespect to the championship, but it's second tier. So it's a tricky situation with players going to Norwich, and that's why they seem to always attract those players that you're not really sold on, like a Josh Sargent, who I don't understand how he starts for the USA A team. I really don't get it, but let us see how that one work out. I'm not gonna write him off all the way, but my initial reaction was like, what? Sergeant? Like, what? But look, just to touch on both teams, and I have a big Liverpool following on my channel. Big. And I built this following from when they had their 2 runs to the Champions League final and their Premier League win, where I always talk about Liverpool matches. Always. Every Liverpool game, I'll watch the match, I'll make a review, give my thoughts. But last season, I did not do it like individual videos like that because they were losing a lot of games. And the fans are kind of kind of touchy, where when they lose, they just go into hiding. But when they win, oh my God.
You know it.
When they win, it's big. It's big. But when they lose or they draw, it's like, So, yeah. So that is what it is. But I will be talking about the Liverpool matches again this season. So look out for those videos. So what I actually end up doing, I talked about their games when I did the reviews last season when they lost. So that is something that I have to touch on. I'm talking to you Liverpool fans watching this. Come out and watch the video. Support the thing, okay? Win, lose, or draw. Let me put that out there. This is a good match to start the season off with. Norwich. Or so we may think. We may think so. Norwich might be better prepared than we think because they're coming back after their last relegation and they may be better prepared. So the last time around, Liverpool beat Norwich both games, 4-1 and 1-0. Better showing by Norwich in the second match there. That was at Carrow Road, and that was in front of fans. And Norwich have not beaten Liverpool in their last 10 outings, dated from 2011 to the last 10 years, they have not beaten Liverpool. Out of 18 games, only 2 wins for Norwich, 3 draws, 13 Liverpool wins. So this is a very one-sided affair. Klopp versus Farke, two Germans, Klopp has had the better of Daniel Farke. So, look, Norwich's home record, 1 win, 1 draw. Not a very good home record against Liverpool. So, we see where this one is heading. Norwich has been doing a lot more transfer business than Liverpool, where Liverpool have only brought in Ibrahima Konate, Harvey Elliott back from loan, and that's basically about it in terms of the fresh players in the squad. Minamino came back from loan as well. Who knows if he might go back out. I think the Konate signing is a quality signing. He's a good centre-back, along with Mukiele, Klosterman, Halstenberg, Upamecano. Leipzig had a nice core of centre-back there. It has been broken up, of course. But 40 million euros, that's a lot of money to play for a player who he's kind of doesn't have a good injury record. And he's not really like 100% proven to me. So it's kind of still of a gamble. One for the future. It's good seeing that you're bringing in fresh players because there's Joel Matip, who's not fully fit, Van Dijk, Gomez, but still he's not 100% fit all the time as well. So that one is pretty questionable, but I wish him all the best. Harvey Elliott, one for the future, only 18. The man has looked good in preseason, and Liverpool fans are excited about him. He did well in the championship. Where was he at? Blackburn Rovers, I think?
Blackburn. Yeah, with Armstrong, yeah.
Yeah, he did very well. So I'm very curious to see what he'll do. And I hope he gets opportunities off the bench, sometimes at the start. This is how you have to treat these young players. Throw them out in the deep end. Let's see if they could actually swim. Or let's see if they're going to drown. And if you drown, maybe you go back down to the championship or lower league to work your way back up again. So not a lot of dealings. And I said that Liverpool still have a very good squad. We know this. The only problem for me would be keeping these players fit. And it goes back to having squad depth. This has always been something where Liverpool squad depth is questionable. Very questionable comparing to a Chelsea or a Manchester City. And when you want to compete with the big clubs, you got to have similar squads, squad depth. And Liverpool lacks that. Selling Harry Wilson, I don't know if that's the right decision. I really don't know if that's the right decision. They got 14 million euros for him. I don't know how they get so much money for these guys, but they do. Awani, he's been sold to Union Berlin. I think Marco Grujic got sold, but it's saying there was still a loan fee. Let's see how that. I think he got sold, but maybe he's back out on loan at Porto. And Wijnaldum, how the Wijnaldum transfer is a big miss because Wijnaldum is always fit, while for Naby Keita, Henderson, Fabinho, these guys are not always fit, and this could be a problem. This could be a problem for Liverpool. Thiago Alcantara came in last season and he flopped hard. And these Liverpool fans don't want to admit that he flopped. He was on the bench for Spain. Luis Enrique, he did not have trust in Thiago like that. He trusted Pedri more. And not like Thiago is an old man or something. He's 38 years old. He's still pretty much in his prime. I have to say that. Because if you look at what he did at Bayern Munich, you'll say he's in his prime. And he came to Liverpool and did not do the business. The back end of the season, yeah, he did well. He looked good. But overall, he had a poor season. So, look, Liverpool's problem for me, squad depth, keeping their players fit. And as I said, if you refresh the squad, it would give you more options if a player actually goes down injured. Oxlade-Chamberlain, not a very good injury record. And you depend on Mo Salah, Mane, Firmino. Jota got injured last season. Van Dijk, Gomez. Even Alisson had his dealings with injuries. Look, I think that's going to be the Achilles heel for Liverpool this season. It could either be the Achilles heel or it could be the reason why they are successful. If they keep their players fit, I think they'll be very successful, very competitive. If they're not able to do so, and we have already seen an instance where Andy Robertson could be out for a couple of weeks, and that, look, you miss a few points, that could be the difference at the back end of the season. Let's see if Simica steps up. Let's see if the veteran Milner steps up. And let's see how this team progresses. Curtis Jones, I want to see him getting more opportunities. I don't think Klopp trusted him enough last season. And it's just going to be interesting to see what Liverpool does. Trent Alexander-Arnold, is he going to bounce back? And there's a lot of talking points that we could keep going on and on and on about this team. As for Norwich, I think Norwich, as I said, it's like they're preparing for the championship. Seriously, it's like they're prepping to go back down. And we're going to touch on some of their signings right now, and then we're going to move on. Then we're going to move right on because we got 2 more to wrap up, and I don't want to be here for... I'm saying we don't want to be here for 3 hours, but we got to wrap. We got to wrap it up. A lot of signings, bro. Milo Rashica, quality winger from Werder Bremen, Kosovan international. He is a live wire, but let's see what he does in the Premier League. Christos Zolis. This signing I saw today. 11 million euros from PAOK. He's 19. All players not proven at the top level. Josh Sargent, 9 million euros from Werder Bremen. Relegated player already. So they picked up 2 of Werder Bremen. They're happy right now. They just made 20 million euros from 2 players who has proven not to be very, very good where they were relegated, right? Ben Gibson, Burnley, 9 million. Giannoulis, another Greek man from PAOK. So you see what I'm talking about. I'm not saying that these players did not do well at their respective clubs in their respective leagues at some point. But come on. Pierre-Lise Melou, a Frenchman here from Nice, 6 million. Angus Gunn, backup keeper here. Maybe Tim Krul will be the number 1 keeper. 5 million. Billy Gilmore, I like that. But you see where I'm getting at. None of these signings really make me feel any confidence about Norwich. Norwich will struggle this season. The quality isn't there because you sell Buendia. I know there's quality in the squad. The players who are already there, let's give credit to them. They came back up. But Buendia has left the club. You see, and I think that's a big, big miss. That is a huge miss. There's a few other players left. I'm not even going to get into those players. But the big miss is Emi Buendia. I don't think Timo Pukki is going to rise to the occasion again. He looked good at the beginning of the season, the last time Norwich were up, but he fell away, flopped hard at the back end. Norwich going to struggle. You got a prediction?
Yeah, I've gone with my prediction. Norwich 1, Liverpool 3.
I got with a 2-0. 2-0.
I think I can see Norwich scoring first as well, putting a real wobble amongst the cats and the cats amongst the pigeon.
Another thing is Van Dijk, Joe Gomez. Are these players going to start the game? That's the other question, right? That's the other thing.
Too many ifs and buts on that defence where I don't think clean sheet will be, there, in my opinion. But yeah.
There's also talks about Todd Cantwell because he's a Norwich player, quality player. He was linked to Liverpool in the past as well. Do you think he'll leave because he's been linked with a move out of the club?
He was linked to Villa again. Strong links to Villa. I think he wants a move, but I don't know if people will pay the price tag that Norwich want, which is quite a lot, like 30-40 million pounds. So yeah, I think they're overpricing him there a little bit.
When I look at this team looks light.
Yeah.
This team looks light. And I have to say, Norwich might be going back down. 2-0 to Liverpool. You're going for 3-1. All right. So, look. Let's take 5 minutes. Let's talk about before we do, let's just touch on some predictions really quick.
I'm just going to dash to the toilet. Yeah.
Definitely, man. Definitely. So, guys, Doug is saying a lot of COVID cases in the Norwich camp as well. That's not good news at all. That is not good news. Adnan is saying 2 to Norwich, 5 to Liverpool. That would be a hell of a game. Sebastian, 4-0. Tonic, 3-0 to Liverpool. Cal Gamer King, He's saying 3 Liverpool, 1 to Norwich. We have Brain Sample 2-1 to Norwich. Wow. Glenn Oran 5-1 to Liverpool. We have Elevator Kid. He's saying 3-1 to Liverpool. Robert 2-1 to Liverpool. Too much change, too little quality in the Norwich team, says Tonic. Robert, I don't rate Pookie. 80 Boot. Aarons and Cantwell will be gone this time next year. Let's see. The Frenchman is a baller. Well, let's see what happens, man. Let's see what happens. So, Doug, Norwich, 0. Where we have Liverpool, 2. So that is quite interesting. Interesting predictions you guys have made here. Kickoff 3-0 to Liverpool. I wouldn't be surprised if Liverpool beat them more. We have Palomo 7-0. I don't think we're gonna get a 7-0, man. Look, if you haven't yet liked the video, guys, make sure you smash the thumbs up button for the live stream. We'll definitely appreciate that. We just short of 100. We need 19 more thumbs up to get to 100, and I will appreciate if we hit 100 thumbs up on the first live stream of this season. We have the review coming up this Sunday. I will schedule that one as soon as I'm done. So I know we'll get a turnout according to the results. I know that. I definitely know that. So we got Josh back in the house again. Josh just came back from the loo. He actually skipped to the loo, and now he's back.
There we go.
He's back. So
I'm back.
Most people are convinced that we're gonna have a Liverpool win here. Most people are definitely convinced, and I think Liverpool are gonna win this game as well, without a doubt, without a shadow of a shadow's doubt. But look, let's talk about Newcastle, West Ham. Let's take about 5 minutes to talk about this one. And then let's just finish it off with Tottenham versus Man City. And we'll wrap up the first live stream in about 2 hours, 45 minutes. And going forward, I'm going to try to keep things under 2 hours. We just had to talk about transfers. We had to talk about a lot of different things in today's live stream. There's a little bit of feedback here. I'm hearing a little feedback.
I think that's I'm sat in my conservatory and the rain's just hammered down, so I'm just gonna move.
Oh no, that's cool. No, that is cool.
That
is cool. If that's rain, that's cool, man. That is cool. That is cool.
Yeah. There we go.
That's much better. That's much better. That's
the
much
team
better.
that, Newcastle, the team that amazes me how little the owner cares in Mike Ashley. Absolutely disgusting the way he runs that football club. They've got they've got a manager who, for me, is just stale. Is not getting the best out of a Newcastle United team that should be so much better than they are. He can't get the best out of him. I've experienced him as a manager. He managed Aston Villa for the best part of 2 years. He is a manager who can't get the best out of creative players. And that's a real shame to see. As for West Ham, are they going to be able to emulate the season they had last year? Don't think so. There is going to be this question again for me of, can they get the balance right with everything, with all their European, with the league, with the cups? Mikel Antonio, I still don't think if he gets injured, West Ham still haven't addressed that problem, which is who plays as 9, who leads their line, and letting Sebastian Haller go to Ajax was crazy. So
that was a weird one though.
It's so weird. I still can't go over that. Newcastle, as I keep saying, they're a team that will never, I shouldn't say never go down, but I look at the league this year, they should be okay still. However, when are they going to be brave? When are they going to get rid of Steve Bruce, get a more adventurous manager for a massive city that will play attacking fluent football? When you've got Almiron, when you've got St. Maximan, when you've got Callum Wilson, when you've got Jacob Murphy, you're listing some players here who can get you off your seat. Don't see it enough. Don't see it enough. St. Maximin is the biggest waste of a talent at Newcastle.
Yeah.
It's crazy how he's there.
I think he deserves better, man. He's nice.
He's being asked to play counter-attacking football week in, week out. That's not what I want to see. I want to see him balling. I want to see him sizing up people as many times as he can. So, yeah. So for me, that's where I see the two clubs. One is in still a really messy, dark transition that is not getting any brighter, and they'll cling on.
Yeah.
As for West Ham, not feeling it. Not feeling a West Ham good season. That's just me.
Could it be for Newcastle the fact that they're in the whole takeover? I don't know why I said Portuguese. I don't know. But in the whole takeover saga that's been going on, I think that's why they're still holding on to Steve Bruce, in that they're not too sure where they're at right now. So they actually might say, okay, if we get taken over, the club goes to the next level. We want a new manager. But, we want a new manager, right? I told my boy Josh to stay exactly where he's at, But he moved. But he's back. But look, the takeover, I think, is a problem with Newcastle right now. It has to be. It has to be the takeover. The takeover, I think, is a problem with Newcastle. Nothing else. If they get the takeover done, Steve Bruce will be out. You'll have a big manager come in, and then you'll see the true potential of the club. Because they do have quality players. And when you look at the team, and if they get that Joe Willock deal done, Joe Willock saved Newcastle last season. Joe Willock saved Newcastle, and it was absolutely amazing. I got to give it to Joe Willock, because it goes back to Arsenal again. They weren't able to unlock his potential, but he went somewhere else where he was shown the belief and he was trusted, and the man went nuts. And I think 25 million is a good deal. Arsenal, that's a lot of money for a young player.
Yeah.
But I think he deserves that move. It makes sense. It does make sense. Look, Newcastle, as I said, it's gonna be the takeover situation. When you look at what they did last season, they were struggling. They were in the relegation talk, and then they somehow, because of Joe Willock, his deal, his signing, helped them. They finished 12th, which is a good, very, very good finish. As for West Ham, how are they gonna manage Europa League? I think the Europa League qualification could actually challenge West Ham in terms of the squad depth. Them not having the man who actually put them in that position, Jesse Lingard, back at the club. I think they should have pushed with their all to get Lingard back. But United, when you look at what United did with Lingard, right? They didn't want him, phased him out, sent him out on loan. Now because he went to West Ham, played well, he's back at United. This could also be a Jesse Lingard decision as well, where he wants to play for United. Like, I'm playing for United. I'm be playing Champions League football. But it may not have been the right decision. If I'm Lingard, who I've heard has roots to St. Vincent and the Grenadines as well, he should have pushed for the move to West Ham. Even if it's on loan again, push for the move, start every game. Lingard ain't starting every game for United. No. He's not. He ain't. So, look, before we give our predictions, let's just touch on the transfer business for both clubs, and then we'll move on. Do you think West Ham would manage the Europa League and the Premier League well, or do you think that would cause them to drop maybe to 10th?
I think they'll keep the same sort of lineups for both. I think they really want to qualify for the group stages. If they do, can't see David Moyes rotating too much, because it's been such a long time for them to get to where they are now. So one of the campaigns will take a hit, is in my opinion. Yeah.
So just so you guys know, before you drop your predictions, Newcastle have been playing very well against West Ham. The last 10 games dating back to 2015, Newcastle has 6 wins. There's been 1 draw, and West Ham has 3. So Newcastle has a very good record against West Ham United, where they have 22 wins in 46 all-time Premier League matches, only 13 losses and 11 draws. So Newcastle has a very good record and even a better home record against West Ham United. So in terms of the transfer business, Newcastle United, arrivals, none. Absolutely none. Departures, Christian Atsu, well, he was being phased out. Yoshinoro Muto, I heard they paid him to leave the club.
Yeah.
And he's gone back to Japan. Jake Turner, out on loan. Florian Lejeune has left the club. Andy Carroll has left the club. And the man who was getting paid to do nothing at all at Newcastle, do you know his name? Are you familiar with this story?
No, who's that?
The Senegalese Henry Saivet.
No, can't say I am.
Look into the Henry Saivet situation. Let's look into it. Henry Saivet. He was at Newcastle. There was some dispute, and he was just there as a Newcastle player. He's not playing any Premier League games. He probably played games with the under 23s or the youth teams or trained with the youth teams, but he did not play for Newcastle for quite some time. And he has now left the club. So yeah, that one. And interestingly, this man made the Senegalese national team. Still. So look, man, no business done by Newcastle, and that's very frustrating for the Newcastle fans. Let's see if they do get any transfer dealings over the line. Joe Willock has been linked to them. As for West Ham, I haven't heard a lot of transfer movement over there as well. And I'm right. Alphonse Areola. That's it. Connor Coventry, a young defensive midfielder, got promoted from the under 23s. Craig Dawson made permanent after his loan deal. That's it. And outgoings, Balbuena has left the club. He's gone to Dynamo Moscow, the Paraguayan, and Felipe Anderson back to Lazio, where he came from. He underwhelmed. He had moments, but he underwhelmed. He'll need some blessings. Bless him, not me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So look, let's just wrap this thing up. What's your prediction for this one?
My prediction for this one is Newcastle 1, West Ham 1.
Bro, we on point. I'm going for a 2-2 draw. We know Newcastle lately involved in a lot of high-scoring affairs. West Ham, same thing. 2-2 draw. We're gonna have a good thrilling game. But I can't separate the two teams, so that's what it is. Just to read out a few predictions, guys. Let me know your predictions in the chat. And then we're going to take the next couple of minutes to wrap up. And we're going to talk about Manchester City, Tottenham when we're done. So we have the boy Steve saying a 3-2 win for West Ham. Elevator Kid 2-1 to West Ham. 2-2 songs good, says 80 Booth. We have Jordan Hyman with a 2-0 West Ham. Tropical Tree 2-1 to Newcastle. Elevator Kid 2-1 to West Ham. Oliver 3-1 to West Ham. And Tonic a 1-1. Guys, thanks for your predictions. Appreciate everybody who came through. We got 92 likes. We need 8 more. 8 more to hit 100. I know we can do it. And guys, don't forget to check out Josh's channel. Link in the description. Link in the chat as well. Josh, you have done a great job. Let's talk about one of the biggest games this weekend. A tricky game. Dupe, thanks for your predictions. We have Kickoff. Thanks for your predictions as well. Colin Wilson, Fantasy maybe. Colin Wilson, look. These teams are teams I think are going to be maybe mid-table this season. But I don't think Newcastle are going to get relegated. West Ham in a relegation scare a couple seasons ago. I think they'll be all right. Adnan said, I got a Newcastle away kit this season. I couldn't help it. Look. I have to react to the kits. I haven't seen all the kits. I haven't really done a deep dive on the kits. So that's something that could actually happen going forward. So let's see how that one works out. So, Josh, last one. This has been a marathon. Tottenham, Man City, and we'll wrap things up today.
Tottenham, Man City, the game of Harry Kane.
Basically.
Where it's obvious he's not going to play. It seems that way. The Spurs aren't going to play him. So you sort of think to yourself, okay, this is a really interesting scenario that if Harry Kane doesn't play, regardless if he stays at Tottenham, you're going to be annoyed because actually, why is one of your best players not played against Manchester City? Likewise, from a City perspective, okay, he's not playing. He's not going to do damage against us. Win-win. For me, it's all about, the spotlight then becomes on Son. And I think Pep Guardiola will know how to deal with Son. I think Tottenham as a whole entity under Nuno Espirito Santo, I'm not buzzing about them. Even if Kane stayed, wouldn't be buzzing about them. There is something I cannot quite put my head on with Nuno and this Spurs side. I don't think it matches. I don't think the personalities, the managerial side style matches with what Spurs are trying to do. And I feel like this whole Harry Kane situation has been dealt with poorly, not just by Daniel Levy, but Nuno himself as manager. Didn't come out and defend Kane, didn't really explain the situation, has been very poor. And I think that shows the gulf of Wolverhampton Wanderers, where one of your best players has been linked to someone, to Tottenham, who should be challenging for top 4 as a minimum requisite. So I can only see, as long as Pep Guardiola doesn't mess around and try some crazy experiment, like Jack Grealish playing CDM or something, I don't know, just something crazy like that. Pep, as long as Pep puts out his best 11, his strongest 11, the fittest 11, there should only be one winner, because I think there's too many distractions still going on in the Spurs camp, as opposed to City, who are a lot clearer minds. So, I do expect City to win that game, Dom, and stamp their authority. I do.
So just before you give a little insight on Man City, your thoughts, right? We have an exclusive here that the boys in the chat have been talking about.
Yeah.
Man City are not giving up. Exclusive. They're not giving up on Harry Kane deal. Man City board preparing a new bid for 150 million euros if Spurs stance will change, right? Tottenham have not received any new proposal for Kane yet and want to keep him. Man City's strategy is to be ready and wait. Listen, I do not for the life of me understand why would you want to keep a player who does not want to stay at the club. He has been there for a very long time and he has won absolutely nothing. The man wants to leave. The man wants to play Champions League football and not Europa Conference League football. Okay? He wants to leave. Just let him go. I don't get it. Just let him go. Negotiate. Get as much as you can for him. Or you know what? It's going to be, it's just not going to end well. Why try to offer him a new deal and then he's at the club, his mind isn't really there, he's not 100% committed. It's just getting really ugly. I have to say that. And it could be a situation where I think Harry Kane is professional enough that if the deal does not go through, that he goes on to play for Tottenham. But look at the whole Messi situation last summer. It was big. It was big. And what ended up happening? He has left Barcelona. And I think if Harry Kane does not pack his bags and leave Tottenham Hotspur, like right now, like if he doesn't really push, like he has to push hard. He has to force the move if Daniel Levy won't budge. He has to say, listen, man, business is business. I love the club, but I want this deal. City wants me. I want City. I want success. I want to win trophies. Just let me go.
Yeah.
They have to, by no means, by any means necessary, they have to let him go. And I think with these news coming out, I think it's going to happen. He has not really been training with the club. So coming up against City in the first match of the season, a team that you've been linked to, he might not play. Or he just might. Who knows? But even if he plays, his mind wouldn't be there. You see, it's too distracting.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's way too distracting.
The only thing that's going to happen is if he does stay, he'll sign a new contract extension where there'll be a release clause, and all that will happen is Man City will come back in from again in January. That's I don't even think they'll wait till the summer. They'll just they'll do Jack Grealish.
Yeah.
They'll hit the release clause. That's what Kane wishes he had. If there was a release clause, this transfer would have been done. As simple as that. Grealish had a release clause. Kane doesn't. Put one in. He won't sign a new contract without a release clause, and then it'll get snapped up in.
And the thing is, if he does put a release clause in a new contract, he won't put a crazy release clause where he won't be able to leave, like a 500 million release clause or something like that. Yeah. Because ridiculous things like that has happened.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, all right. So, look, Josh, you have to wrap up. So, I could stay on, talk about Man City a little. I appreciate you coming on and staying this long with me. 2 hours 45 minutes. I think I had you on for an hour too much, because I have to respect your time as well. But
I've enjoyed.
Yeah, I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did, definitely. Let me know your predictions for this game. Talk with the 4 minutes that you have left. Let me know your thoughts on Manchester City and their chances of successfully defending the title, and then you could say your farewells, and I'll just finish off today's stream with a bang. Talk to me.
I think on that All or Nothing documentary that Man City had on Netflix, Pep Guardiola made it clear that the hardest thing to do is defend a title. Manchester City have everything in place to do that. They have the squad depth. They have the manager. They have the experience of doing it before. My only concern is if they don't get this Kane situation sorted, because I still look at it and I don't want to see Kevin De Bruyne playing as a false nine for most of the season when he is fit and returns. I don't believe, Dom, I don't know how you feel personally, in Gabriel Jesus. I don't believe in him
Listen, Gabriel Jesus is that forever will be that side chick, you know what I mean? That You're not too sure about her moving in with you, you know what I mean? You don't even want to introduce her to the family, really. You know, but you like her, you know what I mean? That's Gabriel Jesus for you. I like him. He's a busy player, but he just does not take things to that whole next level, though. You know, so we need someone else, because we have to replace Aguero.
And personally, when we talked about earlier, Chelsea, the threat of Chelsea, could the difference be with Chelsea that they have a 20-plus goal scorer in Romelu Lukaku, and you don't, and you're relying on your Mahrez's, your Sterling's, your De Bruyne's, your Foden's, your Grealish's to all chip in? But for me, a title-winning team always needs that goal scorer who will score those guaranteed goals. However, that being said, Pep Guardiola will have a plan. I do sit here today and believe Harry Kane will be joining you. And when Harry Kane, and I'm convinced, wow. Just wow.
Listen.
Just wow. That Man City team will be everything that you can imagine, if not more.
The fact that, listen, guys, don't believe everything you hear from Pep Guardiola, okay? I don't want to be too long because Josh has to give his prediction, right? Look, don't believe Pep Guardiola say, oh, City don't have the money to buy Grealish, whatever. City spent money, sold players and they recouped the money, whatever. City has money. They got a sponsorship deal with Next and Tire. They got Etihad and a few more. And won the league. You get money for that. TV money. You get that money. Champions League final, the run to that, Carabao Cup, FA Cup run. There's money. Plus the sales of Leroy Sané and a few other squad players who was out on loan, and a few more could be sold as well. So £100 million for Grealish, that is easy. That is easy. It's like career mode where you get a 200 mil to spend and you spend on who you want. Man City and PSG and them teams are playing career mode, okay? While, let's say, Liverpool, they're playing a challenge, a career mode challenge, where let's see how much we don't spend, basically. Look, Kane, Grealish. The reason why I think we'll get Kane, there were rumors that City were going to spend 200 mil. City has been known to spend 200 mil every season, consistently. 200. It's happening. It is happening. Man City, for what they need, they'll spend 200 mil on 2 players, and they'll go on to win the league again, most likely. I didn't make predictions, but it'll be hard to dethrone Man City if Kane comes in. Even if Kane doesn't come in. Because you see what happened last season. False 9. False 9 will do it still. But Josh, what's your prediction? Want to respect your time? What's your prediction?
I think that now is going to be put into Spurs' misery even more. And I've gone with a 3-0 Man City win. 3-0 Man City win.
3-0.
I just, when there's just too much distraction going on, and they go and then you always hear the comments, "Oh, it won't affect the stuff that's going on the pitch. The players are professional." Listen, Son's head. Son needs to know for himself: is he playing with Harry? Is he not? And I think City, they'll be annoyed they lost the Community Shield as well, Dom. They'll be annoyed. They don't want any of this slander. This City aren't the same team. They know what Chelsea's doing. It's going to be a big performance from Man City from me, Dom, and a 3-0 Manchester City win is what I've gone for.
Look, thanks for your prediction, man. I have to say that the Community Shield thing, if Man City won the Community Shield, everybody would have been like, it's just a Community Shield.
Yeah.
I'm happy for Leicester. They wanted it. They deserve it. They won it. City won it, as I say. Everybody would have. People are happy for Leicester. When City win, shut up, Dom. It's just a Community Shield, man. Well, come on. Who cares about that? But for Leicester, it's a big celebration. I bet they had a party. Look, Tottenham are a team I'm not going to take lightly, because if you check the history, the recent history, they beat us last season. Yeah. They beat us last season. We didn't beat them the season before. They always been that team to give us trouble. So I'm not going to take them lightly. I'm going for City to win, though, but 2-1. It's not going to be the easiest win, but we'll get over the finish line some way, somehow. I could continue talking about this, but Josh, look, I'm going to do the honor. Actually, we're going to end today's live stream now. I could continue, but I'm going to be respectful and thank you for coming on, and we're going to call it a day. We're going to call it a day. And I appreciate everybody who came out to support the chat. The first one, we need 2 more likes to get to 100. Let's hit it for Josh. Let's hit it for your boy, Dominic Rich. Guys, don't forget to check out Josh's channel. It'll be in the description box down below. I just put it in the stream as well. And let's see if we could hit 100 likes. Josh, what do you have to say to the peoples before you go? And we'll just end the stream right about now.
It's been a mad one. Premier League is coming back, guys. We've talked about it. I've got those vibes now that it's going to be a good weekend. We've given a lot of goals in our score predictions, and I think that's how people are feeling. Goals, goals, and goals. So big up to everyone who's interacted in the chat. Love seeing all your score lines, the range of it. Love seeing some of your debates about some of the big talking points. You've all been incredible, and football's back. Football is back again, and let's embrace it, and let's love it.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. Tomorrow we have Arsenal, Brentford, and we have 9 more fixtures to talk about. I'll be back on Sunday to do the roundup. I'll schedule it, and I'll be back. I'll try to get a few guests on, fans of maybe a Liverpool fan. Maybe I'll see what I could do, and we could just chop it up maybe for an hour, 45 minutes. So look, Josh, thanks again, man. We hit 100 likes. That is huge. And I'll try to clip some of these predictions, the analysis. You have done great. Hopefully we have you back on again. And it's just good to get the first one out.
Yeah.
Let me just say that. Get it out. We have started. 37 more to go.
We move.
Right?
We move.
Yep. So from my boy Josh and I like to say thanks for watching. And until next time, peace out. Rich Squad. Peace.